like more left than it was. And it's largely because they have higher levels of education than other states. I'm pretty sure that, yeah, there's a cat there. I'm pretty sure there is horizontal. I'm pretty sure that, I'm pretty sure AOC is running for president. She probably should. I think I'm comfortable making an endorsement. My endorsement really matters. She has every intangible you'd want out of a candidate. She really understands it. She has one of the it factors. The it factors. The it factors. You really need to be successful. Hi, Dirk. Nice to see you. She will win on God. No, honestly, she will. She'll win. If she runs, she'll be the next president. Bernie Sanders called AOC his daughter today. And it's clear he's passing off the baton. Bernie Sanders should have been president. He should have been president. That's past us. We're not going to talk like a bunch of little kids like the MAGA people. Because they would say, well, Bernie got screwed over by the establishment in the primaries. Well, Bernie's a good person. Bernie cares about helping other people. Bernie doesn't care if his name is on it. He doesn't care if anyone's name is on it. He doesn't care if it's Donald Trump or whatever. Like, he wants to pass universal health care. He wants money out of politics. He cares about helping other people. Planting trees, he will never sit in the shade of, whatever that quote is. But yeah, Bernie is picking AOC to take this movement to the next level, and she has all the intangibles, a real working class background. And yeah, Bernie calling her his daughter. Her dad, I'm pretty sure, died when she was in college, so it's a big deal to her, but she has the working class background. I want Republicans. I want them to come out and say, look at AOC, this stupid bartender, bro. This stupid idiot bartender. Did she even go to Yale? Did AOC even go to Yale? I want them to do that so bad. I want them to say that so bad. This disgusting, idiot, stupid woman, bartender. Ew. Working class. We don't work. We were born with trust funds and major wealth from our daddies. We don't work. How dare she think she can be in politics? I want them to say that. She will review, not review. She will, well, she'll review and also reveal. She will reveal their true colors. She will reveal their true colors. Her political instincts are great. She knows how to hold a microphone. She's a rock star, which really does matter here. Chill.
What's up, Utah? How are we doing tonight?
You're voting for Hakeem Jeffries. Yeah, dude. Drop a like on the stream or the video, whatever it is. Drop a like. The algorithm's killing us. But I'm sure we're going to get a little boost in the algorithm once I make some announcements. It'll be fun. We'll see what happens. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. We'll see. But yeah, drop a like.
Are you all ready to change the world?
No,
Are you all
we want the
ready
same.
to change this country?
No, we want the same.
Good, because it starts in places like Salt Lake City. Thank you. It is incredible to be here tonight with you all.
And to be frank, I'm done listening to people who, you know, think it's socialism. The people who think it's socialism to give kids lunch, it's socialism to give kids lunch at school, and also their number one issue is pronouns. I'm done listening to those people. They're pathetic. They're on the sidelines. We should not cater to them. We should laugh at them. We should be laughing at them. They're laughable people. They're unserious. They're weak people. They talk about dumb BS because they are dumb BS. They have nothing better to worry about, apparently. And if they do have something better to worry about, they don't have enough strength to actually tackle the real things in life that matter. So they talk about pronouns, and they only come out to advocate for why we should not give kids lunch at school. Like, you know, child hunger is a good thing. Those same people will be like, oh, the pronouns are the biggest issue in my daily life. Shut up.
You know, I love you too. We're actually seeing that our numbers tonight Looks like we've got 20,000 people here tonight. We've got 5,000 people outside who just want to be part of this moment. So thank you all so much. And I want to thank each and every one of you for taking and making the effort of being here today, for taking the time out of your days in order to show up here tonight. So thank you. My name is Alexandria. Some of you may know me as AOC. And we are all here together.
Bernie likes communism too much. I'm so sorry that there's not a better system to protect babies from being dropped down the stairs. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry we don't have more safety precautions in place for kids like you as a child that fell down multiple staircases in their developmental years. But I hope we figure that out for you, because kids should not have to go through the same traumatic brain trauma you have gone through to be like you are. But we're gonna make sure in the future there are no more of those cases. But I'm sorry I'm sorry about that.
Because we share the frustration and heartache that comes from watching those in power actively tear down or refuse to fight for.
Voting for Hakeem Jeffries, yeah, brother. Again, another Hakeem Jeffries voter. AOC is not the answer for Democrats. Yeah, bro. Yeah, she is. You're dumb.
Everyday working Americans like us. And we're here because an extreme concentration of power, greed, and corruption is taking over this country like never before. Oligarchy in America. And we must acknowledge...
No, okay. The issue is, yeah, when the GOP laughs at the working class like AOC, or laughs at her for being a bartender, the bartenders of our society, the working class, they think they're laughing with them. You know, they think they're on the same team. They don't realize the GOP is laughing at them, too. Like, they don't realize that. And they think the GOP is on their side as well, which you probably should not think any politicians are on your side. You should just, you know, think this is someone who can help me achieve my goals for society, whatever that is. The way people look at Trump right now, like he's some overblown big baby with a full diaper that finally shit in the toilet for the first time, it's insane. It's insane that people give him such a leash for being pathetic. He'll be in a golf cart. They'll repost it like, wow, Trump is always working. Trump never stops working. It's like, bro, he's literally using taxpayer dollars to fly Air Force One 10 minutes to go to a UFC event, spending millions of taxpayer dollars for security for professional sporting events. You know, it's wild. He never stops. This guy never stops. He's always helping the American people. Bro, he's literally golfing and lying about winning his own tournament with the Saudis, as he's not even like going to our servicemen who have died, our service members who have died overseas. He's avoiding them. He's going to golf with the Saudis, a live golf tournament at his own properties. Like, how do you flip that on its head so bad? All the stuff the GOP claim to care about has been completely torn down.
Terrifying moment that we are in right now, and that what we are hearing and seeing with our own eyes is in fact happening.
Wait, Joe Biden hid for 4 years, or he was falling off of bikes. You know what's funny about that? Joe Biden's policies, the actual work he did, is so much more coherent than Trump. He turned these tariffs on and off 18,000 times. He's crashing all the markets. The American dollar's dying right now. Global confidence is moving away from the U.S., and everyone's turning towards China. We're giving China a premium position globally. And, you know, China was getting hurt under Biden. You know, Russia was getting hurt under Biden. Russia and China are doing better now because of Trump. Like, it's just like, you can talk about the social aspects all you want, and this is why you guys focus on pronouns, because you don't talk about the work they actually do. You can't talk about the work they actually do. If you talk about the work they do, you have nothing to talk about.
We are watching as our neighbors, students, and friends are being fired, targeted, and disappeared. It is real. People we love are being targeted and harassed for being LGBTQ. our coworkers.
Yes, that's good. Don't say LGBTQIAIWTYZXYABCZWZer plus. Just say LGBT or LGBTQ or LGBT plus or whatever, or LGBTQ plus. Don't try to cater to the most progressive audience with everything you say. It's very clear in this modern day, if you're a politician, what side you're on with this stuff. Don't make it sound too woke. Whatever you think woke means, just don't do it. It's not worth it.
U.S. citizens and immigrants alike are being disappeared off the street. Educators are being fired for teaching American history accurately. And activists are being detained with no charge or evidence for using their First Amendment rights, especially if they are using them to try to end the war in Gaza.
I saw some socialists and communists on Twitter today talking about how AOC and Bernie Sanders are disgusting because they will talk about all these in-person events and talk about revolutionary reform change in America, making America better, but then they will go on to endorse oligarch politicians. And if you see a progressive or a socialist or a communist or whatever on the internet going against Bernie Sanders or AOC, they are terrible people. If someone talks about Bernie Sanders and AOC as being bad or complicit or friends of the oligarchy, they are terrible people. They are bad people. They want to see the world burn. They are bad people. They don't care about anything at all. Anyone who thinks Bernie and AOC are not doing enough, they are so out of touch with reality. They're either too young, too stupid, or bad people. Those are the three options. If you don't understand how Bernie Sanders and AOC will lead to positive change for the world, enough to get on, get out of your room, get out of your house, get off your ass and do something. They will not ever vote. They will not ever organize. They will be on Twitter complaining as the world burns. Do not even give them a second of the day. Someone that calls Bernie Sanders a misogynist, do not give them a second of the day. Someone who says AOC can't win because she's a woman after calling Bernie a misogynist, tell that person you don't care about their opinion. I guarantee you, the same people that said Bernie Sanders was a misogynist in 2020 are the same people that are going to say maybe AOC can't run for president because she's a woman and we don't think women can win. I guarantee you, those same exact people are going to make excuses for why AOC can't be president or AOC can't run for president. Those same people that claim to care about misogyny, that claim to care about racism, will tell the woman of color that she can't run for those exact reasons. I promise you. And anyone that does that, their opinions should be completely blasted from this party, from this movement. They should not be respected ever again. Any consultants, any media pundits, any talking heads, they should not be in this movement at all. They should be laughed at and cast to the side. They are negatives on what we're trying to do. Anyone that says anything even somewhat close to that, they are not welcomed. They can go cry and complain somewhere and do why I left the left on Rumble or on YouTube or be like freaking Bill Maher and laugh about Gaza becoming Dubai. Like go do your little act somewhere else and profit somewhere else. Get away from this actual progress we're trying to do.
In fact, the Trump administration admits that it has jailed a young father and husband, Mahmoud Khalil, without any evidence or charge of a crime. And they admit that they have thrown him in a cell thousands of miles away from his family in New York because he attended a protest, and are detaining him for the content of his speech and nothing more than that.
True. Someone said you need a revolution or something. Okay, you don't need a revolution. A revolution does not go well for anyone. Okay, revolutions are won by very far right-wing militarized groups. We need a really strong, you can say revolutionary, but it's reformism. We need to reform the current system into a true representation of what our founding fathers intended for it to be. Okay, we need to actualize those values. We do not need a revolution. Talking about revolution in any sense of society degrading goes to militarized right-wing forces, violent forces. They will win any revolution. We do not want revolution. We do not want revolution, okay? The revolution needs to be within our institutions in some way to change our institutions by, the people in America supporting better change. We do not want a revolution in the literal sense of the word. If you mean revolution in terms of Bernie Sanders, like people vote and people get involved and people protest and people pressure politicians to do a radical change of our society, then 100%. But I'd be really careful with the word revolution, because the Christian nationalists in charge of America right now, the Project 2025 people who are leading the charge right now, running the show, that want a dictatorship, they also view this as a revolution. They want a revolution. They want us to, help society to degrade so they can pick up the pieces for their own benefit. So they want revolution. I think someone in the White House literally said this revolution will be bloodless if the left allows it. So we need to be ready for that. And the popular support, what AOC is doing right now, what Bernie Sanders is doing right now, might be literally saving America. It might literally be saving America. Unironically, like in the truest way you can possibly say that without being hyperbolic, they might be saving America by activating people. They're going through Montana, Utah, every single state, red or blue. They're trying to awaken a national movement that's not restricted by states or demographic. It truly is amazing what's happening right now. And you should be a part of it. If you have a chance, if they're near you, if anyone's near you, if someone's rallying a local group, if the local Democratic Party needs support, if there's no party, start it. Be a part of it. I guarantee you, it'll be very, it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. It'll feel worth it. It'll be nice to do something other than just like doom scroll on the internet. And there's people everywhere wanting support, who want a helping hand. And there's people who want you to extend their hand out to them who've never been involved before, but they don't see how they can be involved in politics. So do whatever you can. Take this as an inspiration. It can be done, and it will be done. And we need to do it before the AI overlords take over and install a Chinese-style surveillance state in America.
But let's be clear, Utah. Donald Trump's detention of Mahmoud Khalil for his speech is anti-American. And we demand his release, along with the release of Rumeysa Ozturk, who he is also jailing for writing an op-ed in her school paper. And we demand this, Utah, because we do have power in this moment. All of us do, you do, and everyday people do. And it will never be just institutions and officials alone that uphold our democracy. It will always be the people, the masses, who refuse to comply with authoritarian regimes, who are the last and strongest defense of our country and our freedoms.
I love how Republicans will comment and be like, it's not a democracy, it's a republic, when the republic is a form of democracy. But then Donald Trump will be like, hey guys, I'm a dictator now. I'm going to wrongfully jail someone and send them to a foreign gulag or like a slave camp in El Salvador. And it's like, well, Trump won the popular vote. If the checks and balances in our Constitution actually work, which is how they're designed to work. If the checks and balances actually check and balance power, check the executive's power, then you're violating democracy. You're violating democracy if you don't let Trump be a dictator. The same people will say both things because they have no principles. They have no principles. They don't care. They care about them having power. They will shapeshift into any position that suits them in that moment. So.
Because we know that a better world is possible, and we are willing to do something.
Chris, and you're not very good at this. I'm actually really good at this, and you better hope I don't get involved in it further because it's going to be bad for your side. Just so you know. I'm actually, just to spite you, I'm going to get involved in it.
About it. But to get there, we must be honest about how we got to where we are right now. Because this moment didn't come out of nowhere. It has been a long time.
Are they going to send the guy back? Probably not. They probably don't know where he is. Or I don't think he's dead, but he's probably in a slave camp, and he is in a slave camp. But if the president of El Salvador can come here, they can get someone back. And if they cannot get someone back, that even furthers the legal issues with what's happening. There's no law that says you can just like wrongfully detain someone and send them to slavery Like, that's not a deportation. That's a kidnapping. That's an abduction. That's a whatever the legal term is. I don't even care. You're just taking a person off the streets, violating due process, and admitting it. They admit they were wrong about this. The Supreme Court ruled 9-0 against them. So I mean, they're not going to get him back though. They're not going to. They are authoritarians. They will not listen to the Supreme Court. They will not listen to anything except overwhelming public pushback. Guarantee it. They don't care about the Supreme Court. The only reason they care about the Supreme Court is only as far as they think the public will deal with it and not have a huge pushback against it.
Time coming. The destruction of our rights and our democracy is directly tied to the growing and extreme wealth inequality that has been building in America for years. It is not a coincidence that billionaires like Elon Musk.
If this country is a democracy and the people voted Trump in, do you think the country deserves it? No. In the same way that I don't think someone in a abusive relationship deserves it. Like, if they stay with an abusive partner, you know, they might have a messed up life. They might not have their own self-esteem. They might not have any control over their life. They might have this person who is gaslighting them, and I mean, that's the more modern term. But the psychological manipulation and the propaganda that he does is extremely complicated in the way that it affects our psyches, especially with social media. People are lied to. They're sold a false version of reality. They are lied to, and we're trying to save them. We're trying to save them and show them the truth. Even about Christianity. You know, we were talking to church today about Palm Sunday, and I'm just getting back into learning about the Bible and stuff. And Palm Sunday being, you know, the example of Palm Sunday is speaking against militarized forces and military showings of power. Like, a military parade like Trump wants is explicitly anti-Christian. Military parades are explicitly anti-Christian. Like Palm Sunday being Jesus versus this militarized force, and his followers have, you know, palm leaves instead of weapons, and they can still be triumphant because they believe in a better world and they believe in love and they believe in unity. That's completely antithetical to what Donald Trump pushes. So do I blame people for this? No. They're being lied to, they're being manipulated, and we're going to show them a real way to reform systems and to make them better. But they are being abused right now. I don't blame abused people. I blame the abuser.
Dumped billions into this election to elect Donald Trump. And he sure isn't doing it out of charity. For years, we have known that our political system has slowly but surely become dominated by big money and billionaires. And time after time, we've seen how our government and laws are more responsive to lobbyists than to the will of everyday people.
And it's like, you know, AOC as well. It's like, how do I get this dumb picture away? Like, why is it showing me a picture? Oh, I'm on Bing? Am I on Bing? This is Chrome. What? Okay, I don't care. Whatever.
And we also know that the agenda of
AOC rich AF. That is a challenge we have. People believe AOC's rich because they believe anything on Twitter. She's worth, I think, like $50,000. She does not take any speaking fees or big money. She never had a fancy job. She came from the working class. She is what every person in America claims they want in a politician. Someone from the working class, someone that rose up in the political system of elites and became someone with power because of their work they've done to organize others, and the work they've done in government. You know, they say they want that, and they elected Donald Trump, who is a billionaire elite who is best friends with Jeffrey Epstein and P. Diddy, and huge Clinton donor. You know, they picked an establishment figure for that spot, but AOC is what they claim to want. So that's a really big thing right here. And also AOC, you know, she's claimed to be worth, like, on Twitter, they claim she's worth $50 million. $50 million. Like 50 million, 90 million, whatever. People believe it. But she's completely clean from big money, from lobbyists. She is against pharmaceutical companies screwing you over. She's against health insurance companies profiting off of death. She's against corporations being able to pay off politicians for whatever laws they want. So they can, you know, when they pick winners and losers in the system, they pick whoever has the best connections to DC. She's the most clean politician you could find. But Republicans will be against her because they're told to. Because they have no independent thought, and I hope they get it eventually. and don't fall for financial fraudsters like Dave McCormick in Pennsylvania, or Moreno in Ohio, or Vivek Ramaswamy, who literally made his money defrauding people, or JD Vance, who's a venture capitalist asshole that takes successful businesses, guts them, and kills them for profit, and abuses workers. I hope they stop falling for these con artists eventually, just because they say they also are against the woke mob and pronouns, because pronouns will make everyone's head spin. Imagine having all these real problems in America, and your dumbass is talking about pronouns every day and someone else's gender. Imagine being mad about someone else's gender, bro, every day. Get a life. This is the YouTube show you called into. What's up? This
Hello?
is the YouTube show you called into. What's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing all right. How about you?
Doing good. So you guys are claiming that Trump is bad for America?
Yeah. Yep, that's the claim.
And what is your argument there?
He has no economic plans, no healthcare plans. He's making politics more corrupt.
Obviously, his economic plan is the tariffs.
And that's really
too.
bad. Well, he changed them like 15 times so far, and he's going to change them again tomorrow.
And you say that like P. Diddy is like his ally? After
Yeah,
P. Diddy
he said
just got caught. He's a Democrat, dude. And
no, Trump was best friends with P. Diddy. Yeah, Trump was best friends with P. Diddy. There's videos of Trump saying how P. Diddy's a great guy. He loves working with him.
Yeah, Diddy said that he needs to be banished.
Well, no, but Trump was best friends with P. Diddy.
You're following a script.
I'm following what
America
Trump
voted
said.
for Trump.
Yeah, I know America voted for Trump, but Trump. Okay, are you saying that? Are you okay? Wait. Are you saying? Yeah, I know she started as a bartender. Oh, so she's dumb because she was a bartender.
Anyone that voted for
I know you hate regular people. I'm sorry you hate regular people. I'm sorry you hate regular people. But I think it's cool that she's a bartender. Could be in politics. Unlike Donald Trump, who's in the elites. So are you? How old are you? Are you saying that Donald Trump never said he's best friends with P. Diddy? Are you saying he never said that?
No, what I do know is that P. Diddy said, "Oh, he should be banished." White
okay,
men
no, but
like
why
Trump
did Trump say he's best friends with P. Diddy? Why did he say he loves P. Diddy and he loves Jeffrey Epstein? Why did Trump say that?
There's an echo, bro. I'm watching your channel.
Well, pause the stream.
No, I take orders from some fucking punk ass Democrat, dude. Do you even have a real job?
Are you a troll? Are you actually a troll? Are you a real person with real opinions?
No, I'm actually a service member.
Okay, you can still be dumb. I mean, thank you for your service, but you can still be a little dumb on some things. You don't know everything. Are you God? Am I talking to God right now?
No, you don't.
I think only God knows everything. Only God knows everything.
Well,
I don't know everything. Only God knows everything.
Good argument here. You're just lost.
Yeah. Man. Okay, I'm trying to just talk to you. You're not answering anything.
You're not even patriotic. You're a globalist. Are you against? Secured borders?
No. Why would I be against secure borders?
Well, then how come the Democratic Party was pushing that narrative then?
Pushing what narrative?
They want open borders.
Who said Democrats want open borders?
They unsecured the borders, bro.
But who? Okay, which Democrats said they want open borders? I want to find them. I want to see what they said.
All of them, dude. Schumer.
Oh, no, same. Okay, so Schumer said that Democrats want open borders. When did he say that? I never heard him say that.
Look it up, man.
Well, I'm not. You're being told that Schumer said that. You should do your own research, I think. I mean, are you like? Do you know that one guy that's innocent that they sent to El Salvador that the Supreme Court said they should facilitate the return for?
No, you talking about the fellow that wrongfully got deported?
Yeah, the guy that had legal protection, and the Supreme Court just ruled 9-0 that the Trump administration needs to facilitate his return.
Yeah. So he's
Omar
coming back.
Abrego Garcia. No, the Trump White House is just like saying he's in a gang. They're lying about him, and they're saying they're not going to bring him back. I think that's really bad.
Well, I think it's really bad that we had a bunch of migrants coming in here raping and murdering freaking American women and children.
So do you think that's reason to send innocent people to be in slavery?
What innocent people are going into slavery, brother?
So this El Salvador camp is forced labor until you die, and that's where this guy got sent to. So it's slavery. He's making money for them, and he's going to be in prison. He's going to be beaten his entire life, and then he's going to die in a third world gulag, essentially.
So we need to tolerate freaking violence and rape against our women and children.
No.
They're on the
So I'm
streets,
saying that
man.
we should not. So I think that we should not join the rapists and killers. I think we should be better than them. That's what I'm saying.
We are better than them by securing
No,
our
apparently
borders.
not. Apparently not. If we're gonna send innocent people to foreign gulags with no due process, we're not better than them. We're doing the same shit they do.
When we send people back to their freaking foreign country, what their foreign country does to
No,
them
he was
is their
illegally
business.
deported. No, illegally sent. Not even deported. Illegally sent to a slave camp in El Salvador. That's the issue here. There's people that were wrongfully detained, that were here illegally or seeking legal asylum or on a green card or whatever, who are sent to this slave camp in El Salvador. That's my issue. I want them to fix that.
Okay, so that's one instance. What are you gonna do about the woman that was killed, Lincoln Riley?
That's really bad.
It is really bad, right?
Yeah,
And
it is
control measures need to be put in place. And those
Yeah, I
20
think crime is bad.
million freaking manufactured freaking voters for the Democratic Party need to go home. Right?
So none of them could vote for Democrats. My big thing is I want to maintain due process. If you want to do some type of policy, I think you should still follow the Constitution, and make it work in a legal way. Because if you
That's
violate
right.
due
We
process,
are
or
following
if
the
you
Constitution, man, and we
No,
weaponize
objectively.
the Constitution.
No, I'm just saying, like, when they pick people up off the streets, they've already picked up people who are completely innocent. I'm
You
talking
know
like
that
50 to
Democrat
100
or
people
democracy
proven
is
so
not
far.
written in the Constitution. It's a republic.
No,
We are in a
I'm talking about
republic.
due process. I'm talking about Fourth and Fifth Amendment. I'm talking all these amendments in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, that the Trump administration
all those
violated.
amendments that were violated against Trump, right?
Even if you believe that, why do you think it's okay to violate people's rights in general, to send innocent people to?
Who said that? I think it's okay to violate.
Because
people's
you're not
rights?
just like giving me any opinion other than that you support Trump. And I understand you like Trump a lot, but I mean you're not dating him.
No, I wouldn't even say I like Trump. I just like his policy because it puts America first, and America is what I am. So what does that make you, a globalist?
What do you think a globalist means?
Someone that's like for the world, like for like everyone can come here and just take what they want.
No, when I talk about like trade, for example, like right now what Trump is doing, he is tariffing like Canada and Mexico and the EU. He's turning them towards China and making China stronger. I think that's not American first because he's sending other countries to look at China as a potential partner.
China will fold, man, and then you'll be proved wrong. And then what? Will you just
I
say
hope
that you were wrong?
man, I hope I'm proven wrong. Yeah, if I'm proven wrong, I'm proven wrong. Sure. I mean, but every like
What is your background?
I have a master's in policy. I don't talk about what I do though.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, with the tariffs, like other countries are like, what the hell, man? Because they have deals with us. They have trade deals with us. We're violating those trade
And
deals with like
they're
Canada,
coming to the
Mexico,
table and they're
Australia.
negotiating, right?
No, we already
And we're
negotiated
saving
with
money.
them. We negotiate. We're not saving any money. Like nothing happened so far. But like the EU is making new deals with China that they never would make before because they see America as a less trustworthy partner. Because we're changing policies like every single day, and that's an issue to them because they don't know what we're gonna do. Whatever, Trump has a lot of mood swings. I hear Republicans talk about women having mood swings. They should meet Trump because he changes his mind every single day. And that's got to stop because no one's going to trust us as a partner if we're going to be so sporadic.
I think that his agenda is pretty cut and dry. It's America first.
Okay. Well, I can't really change your mind if you just like believe him. If you believe what he says, I can't really change your mind
either, man.
You haven't said anything to even
No.
try to change my mind other than America first and Trump is God.
I didn't say Trump was God either.
I said we
So,
shouldn't
like,
violate the due process,
Nice
and you
try,
said it's
man.
okay
You're
to
trying
violate
be
it because you.
divisive. It's really pitiful too.
Okay, what?
It's pitiful, man.
But you're just saying I'm right. Like if I ask you why should I support Trump, you're saying he's America first, and you're right. But that's not an argument, right? Like.
No. Well, I mean, you're not putting up an argument either.
Well, I'm arguing for due process. I'm arguing for a smart trade policy. I'm arguing for supporting American manufacturing, and American healthcare. Trump has no healthcare
American
plan either.
manufacturing. That's why we're bringing all the jobs back here. Through the tariffs. So they're going to be penalized if they try to export the product to be manufactured in other countries to make
Well,
other
I
countries
just
rich.
The thing with the tariffs, though, like big companies and rich people made a lot of money off these trade deals, and I don't think the American people should be paying for our way out of this mess. And tariffs are going to be a tax on all of us, and we should be taxing the wealthy instead of putting an import tax on American small businesses and American companies and American people. We're paying that tax. I don't want him to tax American people.
Well, he's setting it up so we're not all getting taxed. It's
No, the
quite
tariffs
obvious,
are paid
man.
by importers. No, like if you import something from
Say
China,
like
you
if
pay
you make
you
$1
pay that
million,
tax.
like 10% of $1 million is more than 10% of 100,000. You know, so the rich are already paying their piece, and I'm not rich either.
I disagree. So like the top 1% owns more wealth than the bottom 90% of people, which is the biggest inequality we've
Yeah,
ever
well, that
seen
doesn't
in
make
human
the
history.
bottom 90 or the bottom percentage entitled to the
Well, you're
fucking
not pro
people that
America then.
work for
You're
their
not pro
wealth.
America because in America we should be asking people who benefit from our system to make America stronger, not just say they deserve to keep their money because they're wealthy. You don't care about America if you're going to say it's okay to let them
Oh,
just
I
like
don't care about
ruin the
America.
country.
A two-time combat veteran Marine doesn't care about America.
Okay, let me say it this way. I think you care about America, but if you're going to stand up for all these people who like you realize they make money buying all of our
What is the
housing.
American dream?
Are you for BlackRock?
No, I'm not for BlackRock.
Then why don't you want to tax them more to make sure they don't have a monopoly over our housing and our healthcare?
BlackRock was freaking isn't that a foreign trade?
No, the American company, so they operate in America, but like I would want to tax BlackRock more because they make money off of screwing us over with
BlackRock is
housing and
also
medical
like
centers.
you hear BlackRock there like freaking Thomas Matthew Crooks. He was also an employer of BlackRock.
Okay, so
So was
okay, but my question is, why are you so against taxing BlackRock more? I think we should tax them more to help pay for our manufacturing to come back.
we should.
Yeah, so like my perspective is so like if you make millions of dollars, you might be a business owner. Maybe some actors make that money. Millions of dollars is achievable if you're you work hard and you're successful, and maybe even like a couple $1 billion. But when you're talking like LeBron James is probably gonna be a billionaire. Maybe Michael Jordan's a billionaire, I think. But like and maybe some musicians. When you talk about like multiple billions, like 10 billion, 50 billion, 100 billion, 200 billion, those people make money from restricting our housing, from stealing our houses, from making monopolies. They make money from screwing people over, denying people health care. They make money when we die. They make money when America fails. They bet on America to fall. Like the 2008 financial crisis, they made money from the financial crisis. They made money from COVID. They made money from the economy crashing because when it crashes, they have enough money to buy all the small businesses that die, and they can own more of the economy. So from my perspective is, if you're someone who worked for your money, if you worked for it, maybe you served and started a business after, whatever it might be. If you're a millionaire or whatever, anything from that and under, I don't think you should have a huge tax increase. I'm talking about the people that work for BlackRock, that work for these huge insurance companies, the huge pharmaceutical companies, the huge lobbyists. I'm saying we should tax them more, and for the actual people who do the work in America and are actually productive, we should not raise their taxes.
Isn't it true that freaking Donald Trump is actually following a lot of the plan that was put in place by Bernie Sanders?
Like which plan are you talking about?
Like a lot of the tariffs that he's in place right now. This is something Bernie Sanders was talking about doing.
Well, I think he's in favor of like targeted tariffs, but like the question for that would be, why are we tariffing like coffee? Because we can't make coffee in America. So if you want to focus on like automobiles or steel or semiconductors or batteries, you can tariff those and maybe like encourage manufacturing in America. But there's some things we can't make in America that we need trade deals for. And there's some good partners. Like I said, Australia is a pretty good partner. Canada, pretty good partners. I don't think it makes sense to really tariff them because we're not getting industry back necessarily from those countries. And a targeted approach Bernie's for, but I don't think. And I want to end on this,
So what
but
is
like
the agenda behind doing it then?
so you would pick like which manufacturing you need to come back. So for national security purposes, typically, we're not going to make shoes in America at a mass scale, because no one's going to buy $500 shoes, but we can make it in Vietnam instead of China because we're better partners with like Vietnam. So we can move manufacturing from China to Vietnam and India and countries like that are better partners for us. And then if there's something for national security, we could focus in that direct area and make those make national security manufacturing, make that manufacturing in America, not just like give a Because what Trump is doing right now, he is tariffing pretty much every single import from every country, and that's going to make things more expensive. And like, let's say you want to build a factory in America, some materials you get are going to be from abroad, so it makes no sense to make it more expensive to like start new businesses or make new factories. So I think Bernie's for more of a targeted approach with that.
Well, isn't Trump falling in line with some of what Bernie Sanders was doing as well?
In concept, but I would say like the way he's doing it, Bernie would not agree with, especially like the tax cuts for the ultra wealthy, like BlackRock. Like Bernie would have raised their taxes for sure.
All right, it's probably still in the works, man. I mean, he's been in office for how long? 3 months?
Oh, he was president for 4 years before. He never did that. He just cut taxes for BlackRock.
Yeah. Well, he was also restricted. He didn't have like the Congress, the Senate, the House, everything like that.
I would
Now
just look
he's
at
got,
like in 2017, if you go back and watch what Trump talked about, it was about the tax cuts. Like they had enough of a majority to pass it, the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. I would just like, if you go back and watch what he says there, I think Bernie might have talked about it too and why he disagrees with it. But that's just a good thing to look at. But hey, I appreciate the call. Even if we disagree, I appreciate the conversation.
Good luck to you, man. Good luck.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Have a great night.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for watching. Please drop a like and subscribe. God bless America. If you want to support the channel, if you think I'm good at having conversations about politics, please, I'll look at the chat for a second. Please drop a like, subscribe. If you want to donate to the channel, on my coffee link that you can see on the screen, become a channel member for $3 a month, or donate to Jolah Politics on Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal. Jolah Politics, you see it on the screen. JOLAHPOLITICS. Jolah Politics, PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo, and all that kind of stuff. Thank you guys for watching. I'll take another couple calls. Make sure you drop a like on the stream for viewership. Drop some likes on the stream. Thank you guys for watching. That was a good conversation. Oh, did someone donate earlier? Thank you for the 1 gifted membership, Bucky. Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate it. See, I think the conversation around there is just like, people have different people they like or don't like Trump or BlackRock or whoever. So it's like, if I say I want to tax people, I think it makes sense as well to differentiate between taxing those who do work. So I would say like, anyone that makes less than $1 billion who's worth less than that, I'd even move it up to 5 billion. They're not working class people, but they probably did something to make money. For a lot of them, I definitely would keep that threshold lower. But for the sake of the conversation, I would not give tax cuts to people who defraud people and move around financial assets and manipulate the stock market and cryptocurrencies to become 50 billionaires or 100 billionaires, and they want to buy up all of our data and screw us over and sell us out for cheap. Those are not the same people that they talk about when they say, "Oh, we don't want to hurt productivity in America." Howdy.
There's an urgent problem. So I go to Walmart like once a week. I buy a lot of milk there. And I have a massive trade deficit with Walmart, and I need advice on how to fix it.
Well, first, you should threaten Walmart with retaliatory measures to make sure they don't do it again. So do like a protest outside of Walmart and say like, "You are selling to me, but you won't buy from me." And force Walmart to become a pawn shop.
Okay. And then I can start making my own milk, right, at a much higher cost?
Yeah. And once you make milk at a higher cost, then you can negotiate with Walmart and make them buy the milk from you by by saying you're not going to buy their milk anymore. And then you can just say like, "Hey, Walmart, I know you want to buy my milk," even if they don't like really sign papers for it. Like they could sign no contract to buy your milk, but you could just offer it to them, claim to the media that they did want to buy your milk, and then withdraw your milk from them and be like, "Hey, I was going to sell Walmart my milk. They really wanted my milk. Walmart wanted my milk really bad, but I took it back because of the trade deficit." And then like go back to what you did before and just buy from Walmart, but claim victory.
Gotcha. Okay, so all right. I think I get it. You're telling me stop buying from Walmart, start making my own milk, which is something I don't want to have to do, and which is going to be much more costly, and then try to sell Walmart my milk at a way higher price than it sells me its milk for, and then not actually sell any milk, and then go back to buying Walmart's milk and say that I won a trade war with Walmart.
Yeah. And then I would
Okay,
really recommend
that's
as
good.
well, do a hunger strike as well. Because if you don't eat, you can't buy anything from grocery stores or Walmart or anyone. You have no trade, like
Yeah,
just don't consume anything. Yeah.
and that's really going to get them riled up. Okay,
They'll
yeah,
be
that's
so
all
mad.
I
They have
just
no other
had.
customers.
I know
You're the only person they buy from.
it's
Walmart is only buying from you. They have no other way to route trade in a different direction, so they rely on your business. So yeah.
it's true. There's not a Chinese guy that's 3 times as big as me that can buy and sell stuff to Walmart at a better price. But yeah, that was it. Sorry, I know this is like a politics stream. It was kind of a personal life advice thing, but I appreciate the help. I hadn't thought of that. I'll see you around. Good stuff.
All right.
Also,
Thank you. See you at
you're
Walmart.
liberal and gay.
Shit.
Have a good one. Bye.
Thank you. Have a bad one. You're liberal and gay. Shout out to we have a trade deficit with Walmart, brother. You did enjoy that call? Everyone enjoyed the call. See, that's a good call. I think we helped that person learn. Drop a like on the YouTube shorts. Drop a like. Nice pink lipstick. Did I change my saturation? I did change my saturation a little bit to make it like less pink. Keep going. I'm trying to get another caller. If you want to call in, you can call in on these websites and stuff. On the websites, Jolah Politics, or the Discord. One of those works. Nice. Okay. We're not getting any callers. We're gonna have to go back to AOC talking. The troll call went better than expected. It always goes better than expected.
Dark money to keep wages low and loot our public goods to give to the rich is deeply unpopular with the people of all parties.
True.
But just look at what Republicans have been quietly doing in Congress, voting to advance cuts on hundreds of billions of dollars from Medicaid and veterans benefits so that they can take that money and give it to the billionaires in the form of tax cuts.
Nice.
And sweet.
I don't know. What should I do? Should I should I restart the YouTube Shorts stream? I don't know. It's doing okay tonight. Not great. Not terrible. I don't know if I should rename it something else or not.
Hard deals
Get some more callers.
to billionaires like in companies like SpaceX. And you know who from Utah voted for that, by the way? Both of your senators, Mike Lee and John Curtis.
Mike Lee?
And
I hate Mike Lee with a burning passion, okay? Mike Lee is one of the most pathetic people you could possibly find. He knows he's lying, too. He knows he's a liar. That's the worst part about him.
Call from
Whoa.
Daniel.
Howdy.
Hey,
How's it going?
good.
What do you want to chat about?
Do you think the Democrats are good for the country?
It depends which Democrats.
The liberals, the leftists.
Well, liberals and leftists are very different. I don't think any Democrat is really a leftist, to be honest.
What do you think they are?
Liberals. They are Democrats. I don't care what the labels are, really, because no one knows what any labels mean. But you could talk about policies.
Yeah, but do you think the conservative is better than the liberal or the liberal?
Oh crap! Here, let's do this. Let's do this. I'm gonna restart the YouTube Shorts. Take a wild chance that we can make it bigger, make a bigger stream. Let me see. Okay, go to the horizontal stream. Like usual, I have my YouTube Shorts stream and my horizontal stream. There's 2 streams on my channel at all times. I'm gonna keep on taking calls for a little bit, but I want to redo my YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts. I have 2 streams on the same channel. Go to the other stream for a second, or just wait for the YouTube Shorts to come back. 1 second, buddy. Who's calling? You can call back in 2 seconds. So I'm gonna restart a new YouTube Shorts stream, but you can go to the other channel. I'll redirect you. Not channel, other stream. But I'll show you where to go. I'll be right back. Thank you for liking. I'll be right back. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's do this really quick. Put a new stream up. If it's not completely broken, I could probably do. Trump loses to China. Bernie Sanders and AOC travel. Okay, we'll try this one. Try this one, brother. Ever go to Red Robin? I haven't been to Red Robin in years, dude. I just thought about Red Robin for a second. I don't know why. Red Robin's not even red, it's a robin. That makes no sense. It makes all the sense, actually. It doesn't make sense. Anybody making change. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. Okay. 2020 vision. Keep it hit me with precision. I wonder if you block all the when you cross my mind. Can I get a kiss? Can we get this forever for the go to war? I don't know if I can see you again. Starting YouTube Shorts up again. Sorry.
Salt Lake City's own House members Blake Moore and Celeste Malloy. And they know, Utah, that that's not what you want. They know that it is deeply unpopular. They know that it hurts working families from Utah. But they know that they are not there to serve the working class. They are there to serve themselves and the billionaires who paid them.
No one's even joining that, dude.
Call from
Hello.
Hello.
What's up?
All right. So I guess if I call, I can't watch at the same time, huh?
Yeah, it'll be annoying. I don't want to hear myself once, let alone twice, dude.
It'll echo. Okay, gotcha. So yeah, I guess my question is like, what is the answer if our leader is doing everything wrong? Like, what's the answer? Who has the answer to how to fix these problems? Because these are hard problems, and everybody's an expert on it all of a sudden, but nobody has tried to address these problems. They just keep kicking the can down the road, right? So how long can we kick the can down the road?
The issue with politics is it's a popularity contest about social movements. So, you know, whoever can talk the best wins, not really who wants to do the best. Whoever can speak more charismatically or at least connect to emotions like happiness, fear, hope, anger is probably going to win.
Well,
right now, people hate the experts. No, I know, but people hate the experts right now, but they're really mad at politicians and politics. So when it comes to economics and everything, like Biden had some really good economic plans, but he was blamed for like inflation from COVID. He was blamed for the immigration after COVID.
Expensive? Things got so expensive under Biden, though, and they gaslit us the whole time that it wasn't.
Because America was doing better than every country in the world. We had the best economy, but it was global inflation after COVID. So like Russia, for example, a big reason why Russia invaded Ukraine is because Putin wanted political cover from the inflation and the economy in Russia suffering so bad.
Biden was a beta, and he knew he wouldn't do anything.
Do you think okay, so I just gave you a real reason, like an economic reason, because I know about policies and economics. And you responding to my question with Biden's a beta is probably why we're at where we're at right now in politics. I'm not going to lie.
No, you wanted to talk about why the war began, because if Trump was in office, Putin wouldn't have made that move.
No, but that's like
he knew Biden wouldn't do anything.
You're just listening to politicians, though.
Biden got
you're
us
telling me
right back
media
into the
narratives.
World Health Organization without even renegotiating. Like Trump
You're telling me
canceled
media
our
narratives. Hey,
World
talk to me,
Health
buddy. Talk to me, buddy.
Organization.
Hey, buddy. You went off on I don't know if you just heard a word that makes you happy or what, but we can talk about different policies and what we need to do to fix America. But it seems like you're more of a fan of politicians. It seems like you just like fall into the same trap.
No, not really. I'm just saying Biden versus Trump, like it's a no-brainer that one's a better negotiator.
Nothing's well.
Biden's
Biden. So
pushover.
like, okay, so Biden had
He's a
actual
pushover.
policies. Biden had actual
He's a
policies done. Okay.
Not really. Things got expensive. I don't
Hey, buddy,
understand
calm
where
down.
you're coming from.
I understand you're emotional. Do you want a real answer, or do you want an answer that makes you happy emotionally? Can you handle the real answer? Can you handle the big boy
I want
world?
reality. I know what
You don't
I
want.
know
Okay,
what I
okay.
felt,
If you
I
want
know what I
reality,
paid
grow.
for
You
gas.
need to get a little bit tougher and grow up a little bit if you want reality. Because the
I
way you're
know
talking
what I
right now, you
paid
sound like a
for gas.
12-year-old degenerate on Black Ops, and one of the
See,
bad Black
Trump,
Ops,
you
like the new
can't
one.
debate.
You don't even
Now
know. Like
you're
you're not
getting
even Black Ops
emotional.
2. Buddy,
Now you're
buddy, come
getting
back to
emotional.
me. Come back to me. Do you have issues you care about in life that aren't just like worshiping politicians?
I don't worship any politicians. What are you
Okay,
talking
well,
about?
answer the question then. Calm down. Answer the question. What are some issues you care about right now in America? Healthcare, jobs,
Our
like name a
deficit.
topic.
Our deficit.
Okay, do you make good money?
No.
Okay, if you don't make good money, like in your life right now, would healthcare policy benefit you? Would economic policy benefit you or your family? Like, what changes in your community or your state are issues that you want to like see? Like, what do you want to see changed at that level?
I'm more concerned about the future. We're borrowing from the future with this
Okay,
deficit.
I think you make good money then, because if you don't have anything to bring up from your actual life, if you're going to talk about the deficit, you don't have any big problems then in life.
We're taking money from people who aren't born yet.
Again, you don't have
Do you
any
have
real
children?
problems if you don't have
Do you care
anything
that
else
your
to worry
children are
about.
going to inherit
No,
this
but I'm
problem?
talking about like today or tomorrow or the next day. Like you should have problems right now that affect you policy wise. Or if you don't have any of those problems, that's fine. We can talk about the deficit. But if you don't have any other problems at all, then it is what
Well,
it is.
I
I don't
live
know
in a
what to talk to you about.
democratic state where they make it really hard to make money for like small business or entrepreneurs. So I've noticed that.
Do you know any like policies or laws that you want changed?
I just want them, as far as the government, out of a lot of business for the most part, like, and just allow us to figure it out ourselves because they're terrible at coming up with solutions for things.
How am I supposed to have a conversation with you? And like, if I ran for office, it'd be a different conversation, obviously. From if I'm talking to a voter, I don't expect voters to be really well informed on everything because they're busy. But like, call into a political show. You have no laws or anything at all that you know about that you can like say like, hey, this is something I want changed. Like,
Well, I'm just talking about, you're saying that your argument is Trump is bad for America. My argument is that the deficit is bad for America.
okay, so for the deficit, Donald Trump is adding like 10 times more to the deficit than Kamala Harris was going to add because he's decreasing taxes.
Yeah, but
Our
those are
economic growth is
investments we'll see
slowing.
returns on. Kamala Harris would have gave it to puppet shows in other countries.
Do you care about
That's the
facts?
difference.
Okay, but we have like
I would
budgets
like
we can
somebody
look
to
at, you
invest
know.
my money and see
We
a
have-
return on it.
So you don't care about the deficit at all then?
I do. That's what
Well,
that's what we're talking about.
Donald Trump is blowing up the deficit right now way more than Kamala Harris's
That's
policies
fine. I
we're
can
going
take
to.
that in the short term for the long term.
Okay, so you're
benefits.
okay with so you have no like do you consider yourself to be an honest person?
We can't just keep kicking the can down the road. Like
You realize you just said the
fixed,
definition of kicking the can down. You literally just said it's okay to kick the can down the road. You literally just said it's okay to do that.
No. I said it's okay to make investments.
Bro, you are so silly. You're a silly guy. You're a silly guy. So
you
the
think
deficit's
our
not
money
that big
should
of an
just be
issue.
Thrown away at different weird programs that have no interest for our country. Is that what you're arguing?
What like what? Like what programs?
Anything. Do you think there's any? Does the government waste money at all, or no? You're just going to say that they're perfect, accountable. Their accounting is perfect.
Okay, when I have
never
conversations,
misspent a
okay,
dollar.
so
Is that what you're saying?
I don't have conversations like the government is bad or the government is good. I talk about specifics because I'm a person who cares about factual information. I care about making life better for people. So if we talk about policies they want to do, Trump is spending all of his money on just corporate tax cuts essentially and tax cuts for the wealthy. Now I could save for
every taxpayer gets the tax cut. So you're misinformed.
Okay,
and
so
you're pushing misinformation.
okay. So when we talk about the tax cuts that are being done right now, that's going to be a tax decrease for the top 1%. Our taxes are going to go up, especially from the tariffs. But they're going to go up from the tariffs as well. Yeah,
Well,
that's
the
objectively
tariff,
that's true.
the tariffs are going
That's how
to
it works.
zero. That's the goal.
They're
That's
not
the
at zero.
play,
They're
right?
not at zero. They're still not at zero. They went back to. They're not at zero.
It's only
Trump literally
been-
just said today.
it's only been a
Trump walked it
short
back
term.
again today. Trump walked back everything today.
It doesn't matter. It's complicated negotiations. Of course, it's going to be renegotiated. What are you talking about?
You just take
People
people's words
throw
for
numbers
things.
back and forth. It's called negotiation with big deals and big business.
You
Like,
sound
hello.
okay. I could tell you have no experience doing any of this because that's not how any of this stuff goes.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
They're just taxing the American people for no reason. Negotiations take years to develop. It's not like, oh, we're going to do a reality TV show vote off of which country is going to give us the best deal on tariffs. That's not how anything works in the world at all. Like,
So other countries tariffing us is good, but us tariffing them is not.
I want you to know that you sound like an absolute robot that's repeating talking points back to me. You're not engaging in the conversation at all, and I think you should look in the mirror and feel bad about yourself because of it.
This is what you're telling me. You're saying Trump tariffs are no good, but other countries' tariffs are okay.
I never said anything about this at all. I said it's not good to tax the American people.
But I'm
no,
here.
I said he's
I'm right
raising our
here.
taxes. I never talked about
You're
tariffs.
the one that needs to prove that your reality exists because I'm in reality. You're in
Okay,
delusion
well,
land.
I don't need to just say I'm in reality. I'm giving you points to show that I am in reality. So I want you to feel
But
bad about
you're
yourself
delusional.
tonight. Only because I want you to be better.
have
I feel like I'm a
PBS.
father to people like you. I'm a father to you
You
because
have
you need to understand
PBS,
this stuff. You need
bro.
some more personal
Bro,
responsibility.
you're a beta
Um,
cuck. You can't argue.
Can you calm down? I'm not arguing with you, really. I'm just trying to spread facts so people that do care about their communities can
These aren't
make better
facts.
better
Listen.
decisions to help it.
I
Because you
didn't have
don't
any
have that
facts.
many problems because the deficit's going to increase. That's the only thing you said you care about. So yeah, I don't know what you really
Well,
care
I'm
that
just
much
saying
about.
that's one of the big issues right now that like this guy's trying to fix and nobody else
Well,
could fix and nobody else.
when
would
you say
even
this
try
guy's trying to fix
so
it, you realize
what
that
is
his
your
budget's
solution?
so the budgets
Okay,
for
what
this
is
are
your-
all
what is
hey,
your
calm down,
solution?
calm down. Hey, baby girl.
What
So
would be your solution
think about this.
to this?
Think about this. Think about
Candy
this.
lips,
Think about this. So when we talk about
candy lips.
the budget, so Trump is going to increase the budget by probably $20 trillion over the next 10 years,
in
and
the
that's
short term. Yeah. Okay, in the short term. Next.
okay.
Next.
Yeah, so he's going to be really bad for the deficit. Yeah,
Yeah, that's short term. What about long term?
10 years of the deficit going up $20 trillion or $40 trillion is a big number.
No, I'm saying like short term, yeah, we might see some things like that, but longer term, that's not the goal. So you're trying to act like the play is not the play. Like you don't see the play. Like I don't get it. If you're so educated about the topic, you should know what the play is. But you're saying that the play is something else. Like it's just stupid. This guy's just stupid. He doesn't know what he's doing.
No, it's not stupid. He's just trying to tax us more. He's trying to get people to come to him for favors when he gives them
That's
tariffs so
just
they can
not
get exemptions.
That's just not true.
See, this is the really hard part in life. I feel like you know when someone is like an adult and they have a kid who doesn't listen to them, and it's like you'll know better when you're older, or maybe you'll understand someday. That's how I am with you because you really have that mentality of like a really really small child, and you're like kind of cocky, kind of sassy. You have this little swag to you. You probably move your hips a lot when you walk. And yeah, you don't care about the facts at all because it's easier to just say beta cuck and say a bunch of dumbass shit on the internet. But I mean, I do hope you find some type of manlyhood or masculine energy to take personal responsibility to understand things in life. It would really be beneficial to you.
So.
It'd be really beneficial to you to
Anyway,
know your stuff. Don't just trust politicians violently.
Where's the love?
Don't
like, you
don't
got,
puppet
like,
don't be a puppet for politicians. Don't trust politicians without condition.
No love. All you got
I
is
love this
hate.
country.
Orange man hate.
Can you stop crying? Are you here to cry or talk about America? Okay,
Yeah,
that is good.
I'm not the one obsessed with hating one guy, and I'm not obsessed
Oh, I
with
don't hate
loving
Trump.
one guy either, but-
Trump's not really. I do hate Mike Lee from Utah. I hate Mike Johnson. I hate. Let's see,
It's not
Elon Musk. I
good
do
to
hate. I don't really hate Trump that
It's
much.
not healthy to
Trump's
hate.
Trump's too dumb to hate.
So your
He actually
cult
is kind of just like
the
he just
cult
wants
of
like
hate.
to be given gold and stuff.
Your cult is a hate cult.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. What do you love? What do you love? What is it that you love?
I love helping kids like you understand the world a little bit better, even if
What are
you
you
because
fighting? What are you fighting for? What
the
is your
big thing is
activism
I
doing?
kind of know. Oh, so we want to get money out of politics. We want to decrease the deficit. That's a big thing, decreasing the deficit. And Trump is going to blow that shit up, which is really bad for America. He's
But do
killing
you
the value
love
of the dollar.
America? Is that why you want to do these
Countries
things?
are
Or do you love
abandoning
yourself?
investments in America. Companies are leaving America, going towards China. So I really don't like that Trump is degrading America that way by sending companies and other countries to work with China because America is so untrustworthy right now. And that's real stuff happening in the real world. We're going to see the repercussions of eventually. I know you don't care
I
about that
think
because
that's
you operate in the
a
emotional
false
world.
conception.
But I want you to
Like,
just like think about how amazing life can be if you stop being such a little beta boy. Like just imagine having truth
using
and
my own
knowledge
words
and taking
against you
time to
now.
understand things. Imagine not just
That's
like crying
fine.
about
You
you
can
probably cry
insult
about
me, but
pronouns. Yeah, you probably cry about pronouns. And pronouns are
I
he
don't care about
or
pronouns.
he he
You're the
because
pronoun.
I laugh at you because you're so
team
stupid.
pronoun, brother. You're the one that's on team pronoun, not me.
Team pronoun. See, pronouns really make you excited. Pronouns make you super excited.
It's
I'm
just
proud
so
of you.
silly that it's fucking hilarious
Yeah.
that you would even like discuss that. Like, who cares? I don't care about
Yeah, I
your
agree.
pronouns.
Who cares? Yeah, I just respect people because I love people. I love other people. I love the country. I love my fellow country people as
I
well.
don't think so. That's not the vibe that comes off of the activists
Do you
on
think
the Democrat side.
gay people should be able to adopt?
To adopt? I really don't care. Sure.
Do you think they should? Okay, awesome. I'm proud of you for supporting love in this country.
But I don't think they should be throwing it in my face and making me accept things publicly and get on one knee and, you know, I don't need it in my face.
What kind of weird adult films do you watch
flag.
that you think gay people make you get on
How many
one knee?
people
What
you
kind of
see
weird
going around
films do
with
you watch?
straight flag?
What kind of fantasies do you have about
Do I have
getting
a
down on
straight
one knee?
flag that I
What
want
kind of
you to
fantasies?
raise
No,
in
I
front
want
of
to
your
know. I
house?
want to know. I want to know what kind of
What
fantasies
is
you have
the
about
straight
gay people
flag?
that makes you think you got to
If
get
there's
on
a
one knee
pride
for them.
flag, should there be a straight flag?
Yeah, make a straight flag, buddy. Name for me something. Okay, when was
That's
gay
how
marriage?
silly this
When
shit
wait,
is.
wait, let me tell me something. When was
I don't
a
have to
straight
shove it in
when
your
was
face.
hey beautiful. When was straight marriage legalized in the US?
I don't care.
When was it? No, tell me when straight marriage was legalized. It's a big question.
I don't care about people's lifestyle, but when they're
When was? Do you know?
forcing
It's a fact.
fucking
It's a fact.
matches,
Okay, it's just a fact. It's just a fact. When was straight marriage legalized?
who cares? Talking
When
about
was it
money.
legalized? When
Money
was
is-
straight
we're gonna-
marriage
we're going
legalized?
broke.
Okay, when
We're
was gay
going
marriage
broke.
legalized? You don't care about money
We're
either.
going
Okay, when
broke
when
as a
was gay marriage
country.
legalized? When was gay
The
marriage
future
legalized?
is gonna go bankrupt if we don't do anything, and you want to talk about gay marriage? You're silly, bro. We're about to go bankrupt. Like, thermonuclear war is a real threat, and you want to talk about pronouns? Like, okay. You want to say I sound like a child?
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
Yeah. So you think it's okay for do you think it's okay for like Trump to increase the deficit by $20 trillion over the next 10 years or $40 trillion?
If it's an investment that we're going to see a return on, then yes.
What if it's not? So
If
deficits
it's
are
not,
okay.
no, I don't want my money
So
being
bigger
wasted.
deficits are. So you're saying big deficits are okay as long as you're getting return on investment.
Yeah.
You're a modern monetary theorist. You believe the deficit does not matter. Good job.
I think it matters, but you know.
No,
it
you don't
costs
think it
a
matters.
little-
You don't
it
think it
costs money
matters.
to make money.
Yeah, you're using the Democrat argument. This is the arguments Democrats make for expanding the deficit. By the way, this is the
Yeah,
Democrat
well, that's
argument.
why people like Trump, because he was a Democrat his whole life, but you guys chased him
Yeah,
away.
you don't have
scared
any
him away.
values or anything.
'Cause
So
they
you're
did such
okay.
a
So you
shit
like the
job.
deficit. Okay, I am so happy
Obama
that you
did
agree
such a
that the
shit
deficit does
job,
not
it made him
matter.
come out-
You agree
like,
the
he
deficit
could be
does not
chilling
matter.
right now.
You agree the deficit does not matter. I'm really happy to bring you along there.
It does matter. If you have kids, it should matter.
Well, it doesn't matter to you because as long as you get return on investment, you could blow up the deficit for. And the return on investment, by the way, is just like tax cuts for billionaires. And we're gonna add
No,
$40
I'm
trillion
saying
to the
like,
debt.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying.
Well,
if it's
Biden
going
did
to
an
be-
infrastructure plan to build back roads and bridges. He did a policy to bring back energy production, battery production, solar
Yeah,
panels.
he tried to steal a
He did a
bunch of
policy
stuff,
as well
ideas. I noticed
to bring
that.
back subsidies, to actually start subsidies for our chips manufacturing. Our chips manufacturing and our semiconductors actually multiplied by 20 increased by 20 times in America because of Biden. So Biden did those things. Trump has not done anything at all for America whatsoever. Trump has not done anything. Well, Trump never did that. Trump never got infrastructure done. Trump, you know that Trump never got infrastructure done. So, and I know you're listening to me. So, like, the thing about this conversation, I know you're listening to me, but you can't like let your facade go down, your mask go down of you sounding like a really cool Trump guy online. I know you're listening to me and you're feeling bad about this, but I want you to understand. So, like, when Trump said he'd get infrastructure done, Trump said he'd get infrastructure done his first term. Trump never got infrastructure done. He never got roads and bridges for America done at all. Biden got it done, a bipartisan bill for infrastructure. Trump never got that done. So the master negotiator, Donald Trump, never got these policies done and never got subsidies done for American manufacturing. Joe Biden did. So if Joe Biden was dead and asleep on the job, what is Donald Trump? That's the thing you got to ask yourself when you're thinking later. And I know you're thinking about it right now, but you can't show it because you'll feel bad about it because you have to just seem overconfident and stupid because you like that. But just have these thoughts later because I want you to. I want you, and you're listening to it, and I know you understand it, but you can't show that you understand it. But I hope later on tonight when you're thinking about this, like, why do I gotta be a dumbass prick on Maine? Just make sure you think about that later.
And the media
no, there's arts of fact. There's fact and fiction. You are talking about emotional topics like Biden and Trump. You're going back to the media. People know my channel, and I want you to take this as well. I know you don't have a father, but I do hope that I can fulfill that role for you, buddy. And I really appreciate you for listening to me, and I hope you think about this later on today. And I really hope you bet well on FanDuel, because that's probably the only worth you bring to society at all. Here. Let's try this guy. Hi, this is the YouTube show guy. What's up?
Hello?
What's up, man?
What's going on?
Nothing much.
What about that Hyundai plant that they're putting in Louisiana? He didn't do anything for that?
No, that was gonna happen regardless. They had plans to announce that before any tariffs happened. And I can tell you, why.
As well?
Yeah, I can tell you why it can't be a result of the tariffs, if you want.
I'm saying the steel mill as well, though, right?
Yeah, I could tell you why the tariffs would not affect anything. For example, if you want me to explain the policy, I can.
Yeah, I want. Also, can you explain a future without hydrocarbons?
So when it comes to like Donald Trump's policies with like companies coming back, so companies make 5 to 10 year plans. Okay, they make 5-year investments, 10-year investments to move factories, to move supply chains. Factories take around 3 to 5 years, maybe a little bit more. Supply chains take 5 to 10 years. So let's say it's a 5 to 10 year process. Trump is changing tariffs every single day. If a president can just do that, companies are not going to make investments if Trump's going to increase tariffs to 100%, 200%, 10%. Because if Trump's gone, the tariffs disappear. We need like Congress to pass a law. Any plans that are announced right now are a result of that company just doing investments they were going to make in America already. And we do have a lot of car companies and stuff producing in America. But number one, the tariffs can't work for that reason because companies are not going to make long-term investments based on the emotions of our president, because it really is just his emotions that day that changes it. But also, if we produce cars in North America, that's why you have the USMCA that Trump negotiated that he hates now apparently, our trade deal. You might have like, let's say 1 stop in Canada, 2 stops in Mexico. You'll have 7 total stops for a supply chain to build a vehicle. But the high-level manufacturing stops will be in America. So we do have car companies for that, and that's the plant Hyundai's building. It still is part of a supply chain that goes in Canada and Mexico, but there are more stops being built in America, but they're already in America. But the entire supply chain will not be in America. That was already planned.
Okay. And a future without hydrocarbons. You see that as a reality?
I don't know enough about hydrocarbon science, to be honest, to comment on that.
Okay. I was just saying because I don't see a world without oil.
I think we could have significant reductions, but I don't think it'll be like eliminated completely ever. But when it comes to our consumption right now, we consume probably too much of it for like we spend a lot of money on oil and we burn a lot of oil to move like back massagers and hand massagers from China to send that to America, and that's probably not a good use of resources in my opinion.
What about anhydrous ammonia?
I told you I don't know all these big words. I'm not some gay liberal.
They use natural gas and fertilizer.
Okay, well use the word fertilizer. I don't know the big ass words.
It's fertilizer. It's
okay. There you go. I know fertilizer. Yeah, but that's what percent of total. I'd probably say the emissions from the shipping is probably the biggest thing right now globally that we could reduce if we move to. In general, the reason they're making electric cars is because we're moving more to solar panels and wind when new technology comes out.
Yeah.
Then,
But
but by
you know
like
how they make the
2030,
solar panels, right?
yeah, with minerals and
With
metals.
the coal in China and all.
Yeah. But once you have the solar panels and you have new technology over time, then you start weaning off of those energy sources.
Technology doesn't create energy.
But if you talk about creating energy in a sense of like how productive a solar panel can be, it definitely does. And nuclear energy as well. It does create energy. Actually, technology and science does create energy.
No, it doesn't create energy. You can't create energy. It's there.
I hate you. I hate you. Shut up. You know what I mean.
No, well, you can't.
Okay, by energy, I'm not talking about physics. I'm talking about the literal energy that people talk about. We're gonna produce energy in America. You know that. I'm not autistic.
Yeah, we need to drill more. We need to get the oil out.
No, we don't need to get the oil out if we can.
Gas pipelines.
We can gather more energy from better technology like nuclear. I'd rather do nuclear than do excessive drilling that we don't need to ship foot massagers from China.
How come the Democrats have been so against nuclear for the past, I don't know, 30, 40 years?
No one is pro-nuclear. Democrats are more pro-nuclear than Republicans are.
I don't know. Every hydrocarbon like person I've seen speak is very pro-nuclear.
Okay, well, no politicians are pushing for nuclear. Okay, and it's probably because of the fossil fuel lobby, if we're being honest. It's probably big oil making them not do it.
Here in Pennsylvania, they're reopening 3 Mile Island.
Yeah, for freaking Microsoft and big tech companies. I'm talking about production for everyone, not just freaking AI.
Well, that's jobs, correct?
I thought we were talking about energy production. Are we talking about jobs or energy production? Because right now it makes more money to work in
energy production is jobs.
It makes more money to work at. Okay, I'm talking to someone else. It's just annoying, bro. It's like you know that I'm talking about the conversation. Thank you so much for $10, bagel boy, bagel girl, BB. Thank you, BB. Thank you, leftover bagel. It might help to start every one of these conversations by asking what's bad about trade deficits. Walmart call was a troll, but genuinely that's a trade deficit that no one thinks is bad. Yeah, I'll definitely add that in if someone calls about the trade deficits in particular or the tariffs. Thank you. I'll make sure I try to bring that up more. That's annoying having a conversation about energy. And if we're talking about energy production in America, we're talking about creating energy, as in oil or wind or solar or nuclear. And he's like, you can't create or destroy energy or matter. And it's like, okay. And then it's like, well, energy production, I want it to be for people other than AI. It's like, well, energy production is actually jobs. It's like, bro, if you're that annoying in a conversation, I'll talk to someone else, bro. Trump trying to take credit for the Taiwan semiconductor plants in Arizona that resulted from the CHIPS Act under Biden. Yeah, that one's fun. Earth should get rid of us anyway. Liberals don't believe in biology or physics. True. Oh my god, dude, it's so annoying.
But they also know that the only chance they have to get away with...
It's just like, yeah, we had to drill the Keystone XL pipeline, which is a branch offshoot from another pipeline that's already there. It's a pipeline from Canada. And the jobs from the Keystone XL pipeline were like temporary jobs. I think they would have added like 10 total jobs for long-term positions. It's like, okay, these are temporary projects. It's like no one... And like I was going to say, you make more money per hour from gas station jobs and fast food jobs than you do in factories for shittier jobs. You make more money at Wawa and Sheetz and Buc-ee's or whatever and Royal Farm than you do working in a manufacturing plant. You make more money in these jobs. No one wants to work in a factory. No one wants that. They choose working in the service sector 10 out of 10 times, or at least 9 out of 10 times, versus working in a factory because they pay better. The job has less toxins that you breathe in all day. Your body's going to thank you for it. People leave manufacturing jobs. We need better, high-level manufacturing in America. High-value manufacturing in America. If you want to call in, go to the phone number on the screen, or you can join Discord. If you want to call in, I'll take one more caller if anyone wants to talk. If not, we'll go in Discord and just chat. Crap. I don't see anyone else trying to call right now, so we'll give it a second. Watch this video. If no one calls in, then we're going to call it a night. But thank you guys for hanging out tonight.
Such an unpopular agenda is to stoke deep divisions along race, identity, and culture to keep us fighting and distracted from one another. And this has been the big money playbook, not just now, not just today, but it has been for decades. And that is why Donald Trump is not an aberration. He is the logical, inevitable conclusion of an American political system dominated by corporate and dark money.
Also, I looked at the Citizens United ruling. I hate the Citizens United ruling. The idea of having unlimited spending in politics is freaking stupid. It's so dumb. So like you have freedom of speech limitations around like places of worship for protesting. And the Supreme Court would rule, for example, that if you're protesting outside of a Planned Parenthood or a church, you have to be outside of you have to be within 8 to 15 feet. You have to be 8 to 15 feet away from the actual people walking into the entrance of the building. Okay, 8 to 15. Supreme Court said that's okay to have that restriction because it protects people from having a bunch of protesters spitting in their faces. Okay, but if you try to pass a law that's like 35 feet, you can't be within 35 feet of an establishment to protest it, then the Supreme Court has struck that down in the past, okay? They said, 35 feet is too extreme. It's too big of a limitation. It infringes upon the First Amendment. The idea that Citizens United would allow unlimited spending in super PACs is insane. If we can set standards on, 8 to 15 feet away from the entrance of a building is okay, but 35 feet is too much. We can also set limits to how much speech through your money would be too much in politics. It's such a dumb ruling. There should be some type of standard for it, but you probably need new cases and new laws for the Supreme Court to test it again. And the current Supreme Court is extremely pro-big money and pro-corporate, so they would strike it down. So I was looking for workarounds to make money in politics be like policy workarounds to limit the effect of money in politics. I don't know if it's banning super PACs. I don't know if that would stand up against it. I don't know if it's like you have to have a public fund. You have to be public if you donate unlimited funds, like super public and super transparent, and report on it constantly, like every week updates, something crazy. I have to look into that more, but again, if you want to call in, drop a like on the stream, hit subscribe, call in, phone number on screen, or through, you can go in the waiting room on Discord. I'll give it a few more minutes. If I don't get any more callers, we're just going to go to bed.
And if we are to defeat him, Utah, we must defeat the system that created him.
Someone said it's not unlimited. It's not unlimited. There is only so much money on Earth. Dude, the amount of actually, there's only a certain limit of money on Earth. I hate you.
We are at a crossroads in America. We can either have extreme and growing wealth inequality with the toxic division.
Is this buffet all you can eat? Well, it's not all you can eat, because if you eat more food than we have, then you can't eat all the food. It's like, okay. You can't eat all the food. There's only a limited number of foods. I hate you. Wow, that's loud.
Hello.
Hi, this is the politics stream.
Hello. Hey, turn that down, Jack. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Hey.
What's up? What do you want to chat about?
Give me 1 second. Oh, no, it said something about Trump wants to destroy America. Call me.
Sure.
What kind of a stupid-ass statement is that to make?
I don't know.
All right, so picture this. You're filthy rich. You have everything you could want, and instead of going out and just golfing and, like, going out in your yacht or whatever you do, because you're a billionaire, you decide to put your life in the line, get shot at, be put in courtroom all day, fight everybody, deal with the worst people in the world, which are politicians, in order to try to make America a better place. How does that make sense?
Well, Trump got sued over 4,000. Trump got sued over 4,000 times as a businessman.
I could get sued over 4,000 times, so it doesn't mean it's legitimate. Anybody, I could sue you tomorrow.
Okay, well, there were legitimate cases, including the racial discrimination case, and I could probably look up a few others. But like, if you want to write a fan fiction about a politician, you can. But I don't write fan fictions. I talk about policy.
Gotcha. So Trump hates America. What else besides the fact that he's been sued?
I don't think he cares that much about America. I think he just wants power, and adoration and attention. Like the tariffs are hurting America on the global stage. Countries are turning towards China, more so. Trump is raising taxes on the American people through tariffs, working class people mostly, while cutting taxes for the ultra wealthy. He made corruption more illegal, that kind of stuff. He has no healthcare plan too. Like that's all bad stuff to me. Coming in with no healthcare plan shows you don't care about people's healthcare as president.
Gotcha. Well, let's talk about the good things Trump has done for people. Do you think Trump has done anything good for people in America?
In the second term, no. Yeah, we could say some good
well,
things in the first term.
The second term started yesterday. So
well, 3 months ago.
Time.
I mean, he's only done bad things, like really bad things the second term. The first term, it was like, the first term, there's a couple of things. Like his trade deal, the first step, and like I'm sure there's another couple of things I'm forgetting.
There was probably more than a couple of things. Obviously, there was more than a couple of things.
Well, I can't remember everything.
I can remember, securing the border probably greatly decreased like fentanyl and lots of little kids being sex trafficked. But nobody cares about that.
It didn't. It did not decrease those things.
It didn't.
It still went up under Trump. It still went.
Really?
The numbers still went up under Trump. Yeah, the numbers still went. I mean, I'm just
saying. The numbers went up.
Don't get offended by a fact.
Now? Is that happening now too? 50-year low border crossings, illegal border crossings?
Well, no, I understand that no one wants to come to America anymore. I mean, okay. Like even legal immigration is down.
You're obviously. There's no sense with talking to people. Like this is why nobody listens. This is why Trump won the election.
Can you stop having emotional breakdowns? Okay, stop crying.
Emotional breakdowns, crying.
Yeah, you're talking about fanboyism.
Your fucking head in.
You're literally having an emotional breakdown right now. Stop crying. Stop crying, bro. Are you a kid with a hammer?
You lost.
Shut
you're
up.
The one that's crying.
Now you're yelling you lost. Oh, you beat the shit out of me.
Listen, you
bro,
fucking weasel.
Stop.
You
Calm
lost.
down.
You lost.
Calm down, brother. Calm down. There's better things to fight over.
Oh,
chill.
Calm down.
Go pray. Yeah. Go talk to God or something, bro.
You know you should tell to calm down all these morons that are burning down Tesla dealerships. Meanwhile, this is the guy they worshipped 3 years ago, and they wanted everyone to buy an electric car.
Brother, we don't gotta fight. You don't gotta fight. You don't gotta lie. You know what they say? That's a song written by Kendrick Lamar. You know?
Oh, gotcha.
Super Bowl halftime performer. He's a rapper.
Gotcha.
Okay, but the fact that you over a conversation threatened to like knock someone out. Don't you think that sounds like really pussy of you?
No, not at all.
Yeah, very. You can't handle a conversation. You get offended about a conversation so much you're gonna assault someone, bro. That's such weak shit. That's the definition of weakness, bro. Masculinity is about discipline, or is it not about discipline? You just put a hole in the wall. Is that cool?
No, I disagree.
So discipline doesn't matter in masculinity? You never watched Karate Kid?
Masculinity is when you can't when you're so obsessed with just hating a guy because the media brainwash you to hate a person.
Bro, we understand you're a fanboy. We understand you're a dick sucker. We understand you ride. We know you ride. We know you do tricks on it. Yes, you do tricks on it. We know you do tricks on it. Tell me about other things. It's not masculine to do tricks on it. Well, it can be for gay men. Brother.
No matter what they do, you suck the Democrats' dicks no matter what they do. But Trump
I have not talked about Democrats once.
But we know you suck their dicks.
You're gushing. You're gushing right now.
Their dicks.
You're gushing. You're telling superhero stories about these guys. Just talk to me, brother. Are you a fan?
No talking
or are you
to,
a person?
To a person like you. There's no talking to a person.
I'm just trying to talk to you. Calm down. Okay. Did you have a dad growing up? Did you have a dad growing up? Did you have a father figure growing up?
No, no. You people are gone. You're gone. You're so obsessed with just hating this fucking man.
Well, as a fellow person who did not have a father figure, I can tell you do not. Listen, I understand Trump is like your father or your leader or like your alpha.
He was. I wouldn't have to work a day in my life. I wish he was.
I just want us to be able to talk about issues affecting us, not just like what the media tells us. Like everything you're saying right now is media narratives about each side. Like I want to talk about real things, real issues affecting real people.
So, okay, so you say that Trump hates America. This is what you think, obviously. So you really think that Trump is dealing with all of this stuff he has to deal with, which no one would want to deal with, right?
Stop making a sob story for him. He's a rich asshole. He's a politician.
You don't even know the guys. How do you know he's an asshole?
He's a politician. Don't defend the politician. They're not your friends. They're politicians.
People. You know who are the bad people? The bad people are all the people that have been politicians for 30 years, and they're all mega rich. They've never owned a business.
Donald Trump was a huge Clinton donor. He's best friends with Epstein and P. Diddy. He's an elite as well.
He wasn't a politician. You said politician. Wasn't a politician. Never got rich from being a politician. Got rich from being a businessman.
No, he did not do. He got rich from reality television. He got a 400.
He owns 500
he inherited.
properties in the
he
world.
inherited $400 million. He did inherit
$400
$400 million. I don't think facts should offend you like this, brother. Facts should not offend you like this. Yeah, because you don't believe in facts. You're getting emotional. You're the most emotional person I've talked to in my entire YouTube channel's history, by the way. Most emotional person. And I've talked to really angry people.
Yeah, stop talking, you fucking idiot. So everybody who inherits 400 million. Everybody who inherits money will just turn that money into billions.
He did not turn it into billions. There's no proof he was ever a billionaire.
He's not worth $5 billion.
New donation
that's
from
just, you just decided that that's all a lie.
He hid his financials for a reason, bro. He never showed his financials. We have zero proof that he's a billionaire. Like, actually.
Oh, so when Rachel Maddow had got a copy of his, back in 2005, got a copy of his 2005 tax return, and it revealed in that 1 year he made $125 million and paid $36 million in taxes. That doesn't show that he's a millionaire.
You trust Rachel Maddow now?
Oh, here we go. Here we go. See, this is why I won't have a conversation with you, because you have TDS. You're gone, You're
you
gone.
Trust Rachel Maddow?
You can't even admit that the guy's rich.
I'm just saying there's no proof. He made that money from reality television, by the way. He made that money from reality TV that year.
So
yes, he did.
How was he so rich before? How is he so rich long before?
He inherited $400 million. You can make money making $400 million. Yeah, when you inherit $400 million, you can make money.
And you're talking about masculinity with me. Meanwhile, you're so obsessed you can't even admit reality.
Bro, you
threatened
to fight someone over the phone because I criticized a politician. You don't fight for politicians this hard. They don't care about you. Either side. They don't. I mean, there's some politicians that might, if they're from the working class and they really care. But like, these are still tools for us.
Bernie Sanders, yeah.
Yeah.
The millionaire Bernie Sanders. Yeah. Here we go. Listen, let me ask you a question.
Do you think being a millionaire is bad?
Other politicians?
Is being a millionaire is bad?
All right. Do you criticize all these millionaires that criticize other millionaires?
I think it's fine to be a millionaire.
If you're a millionaire, why are you criticizing other millionaires?
Okay, well, Bernie Sanders wants to tax himself a lot. Isn't that good? He wants to tax himself a lot. That's fine.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
One thing I can
dude,
guarantee you.
Wait. You just sounded like the most sassy ex-girlfriend ever. Sure. You have to stop being so feminine, bro. You have to stop. Sure. You realize you hear yourself? Do you hear yourself, bro? Sure.
Look, I could slap
yes, he's a millionaire.
Fucking people around all at once.
Calm down. You're probably like 5'7", bro. Chill. Okay. What matters right now?
I know plenty of short people that would smack the shit out of you. So I don't know what you're talking about height.
I don't care. I'm not. Why are you talking about fighting, bro? Bro, stop talking.
Because this is what it's come down to. You people can't be fucking spoken to. You need to be beaten to. That's what it is. Now, are you as critical with all these other politicians as you are with Trump, or do you just think all the Democrats are just angels?
No, I don't think they're angels. I don't love politicians like you do.
Talk about some of these other people, just so everybody's like, oh, at least he's fair.
Because Donald Trump right now is defying the Constitution openly and making corruption more illegal.
One fucking Democrat in your life.
Really?
You could
really?
Be like, oh, I used
really?
to criticize Obama.
I do not like. Yeah, you know what? Actually, no. So I don't like that Kamala Harris is going to private fundraising events. I don't like that Hakeem Jeffries or Ruma Gallego, which is a senator and a House member, the House leader. I don't like that they're going to crypto balls with crypto billionaires, getting funding from them. I don't like that. I can name like 50 more Democrats I have a problem with. But right now, you just like adore Trump. I talk about Democrats all the time because I have principles. I have actual policies I want done in this country. You worship people. I don't.
Oh, I worship people.
Yeah, you have not said one thing that's factual. Because I have real policies that affect me and my neighbors that I care about. I'm not just saying like Trump is good. Can you imagine being rich and like taking away to sacrifice his life for us so he could help like, bro? You sound like you're longing for like someone that you're in love with.
No. You said Trump hates America, and I said Trump would not give up his lifestyle, his fancy lifestyle, potentially, just going out and golfing every day, and he's a billionaire, so the guy can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants to do it, to deal with this nonsense. I would say that doesn't describe someone who hates America. I don't think he's dealing with it. I don't think he's doing this to hate. Because he hates the country.
When Hitler got into politics, do you think he loved Germany?
Do I think he loved Germany?
Yeah.
All right, explain. Why would he love Germany when Hillary got into politics? Who are you talking about?
Hitler. Adolf Hitler.
Hitler?
Hitler took a
Why
break.
Are we talking about Hitler?
Because Hitler took a break from his life. He took a break from his amazing life to get into politics to be criticized by people. Why did Hitler do
like
that?
Your attempt to,
He
like,
took a break.
Trump to
He
Hitler.
took a break. No, I'm not comparing Trump to Hitler. I'm talking about just
Good,
okay.
good.
Okay. How about Joseph Stalin or Benito Mussolini or Osama bin Laden? They had lives. They could have been peaceful. Like Osama bin Laden got assassinated for what he did in 9/11. Why did he do that?
Because these are sick people with a sick ideology that just want to kill people.
But why did they want power? Why did they want power though? Why do they want power? They have money. They can be leaders.
I have nothing to do with power. These are just sick people that had a goal, of a sick goal of just destroying and killing people.
Do you think
it has nothing to do with power?
Do you think that it's weird to think that a billionaire or someone with a lot of money or power would want more money or power?
Yes and no. I don't think Donald Trump is doing this for money because he's probably making a lot more money not doing this.
No, to hell no, bro. The crypto, he literally has a crypto coin. He has a crypto scam. Yeah, I care about America. I care about the Constitution. I care about money and politics. Yeah, I give a shit about this. I'm sorry that you get emotional over me just knowing stuff about you. You want to threaten to beat the shit out of me. When it comes to actually build shit, you don't want to be there. You don't want to be there organizing or having any policies change to get money out of politics. You just want to threaten to beat up people over the freaking internet because you have nothing to stand on. I give a shit that the president is making money scamming his followers and also getting money from foreign leaders through a cryptocurrency. I do give a shit about that. If you care about Nancy Pelosi's money in politics, I care about Nancy Pelosi's stock trading. You should care about Donald Trump's insider trading.
Well, until I see proof that Donald Trump is making money from insider trading,
you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it.
Oh, but they're not prosecuting him for it. That's pretty.
You wouldn't believe it.
You wouldn't.
Well, you don't. Okay, they prosecuted him for
the
felony crimes that he did commit. You probably say he commit no felonies. You probably think that was all sham too.
You're speculating on what things that he's doing.
Okay, do you think he did? Do you think he did 34 felonies to be convicted of? Do you think he did that?
I think I would say yes, that he probably broke some laws, but we know lawyers came out and said that those were very petty laws that normally wouldn't be prosecuted. And why weren't these other politicians charged? Why weren't all these other politicians charged and put in front? Everybody knows. Listen, everybody knows that whole thing was just to try to hurt his chances of winning. And you know what the funny thing is? It helped him to win. Everything that the dumbass Democrats do, they're dumb. Everything that they did to Trump helped him win. Everything they did, it backfired and helped him win. If they would have not prosecuted him, not trying to kill him.
Politicians do get prosecuted. Like Eric Adams was getting prosecuted. Trump helped Eric Adams, a Democratic mayor, get free. It's still a very high-profile politician. Like this is still a big deal. New York City has a bigger GDP than most countries. I'm talking about politicians get charged for this stuff all the time. But he did commit financial crimes. He did pay off a porn star with campaign funds. He did pay money to pay people off to hide that fact and to cover up financial. Yeah, it is because he paid people he used campaign funds illegally and then he hid it. He paid someone to hide those campaign funds to try and hide them because he knew it was illegal, so he paid for someone to hide it. That all this is very illegal. That's very corrupt. Yeah, it is. Like it still is. You could say it doesn't matter that he's being corrupt for you, but it still is corrupt. I think politicians should still be held accountable for that if they do that.
Oh, all right. So how about the old ugly disgusting chick that came out and said like 30 years ago that he sexually assaulted her in a closet or something? There was no witnesses, no nothing. There was nothing. There was no evidence whatsoever. Nothing. It was just a claim that she made that happened like 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And of course, he was never actually held liable for rape or sexual assault. He was held, there was like a civil ruling against him and he had to pay he was charged with having to pay like $83 million, which is never going to get paid. But he had to pay like $80 million. Is that fair for him? Even there was no witnesses, no evidence that ever happened.
Is it fair for him? Well, he has bragged about grabbing women without consent. He went into the locker rooms of teenage girls getting changed. Well, it does matter when you say public comments like you want to grab women that don't want you to grab them. It does matter in cases like that. It definitely does.
So wait a minute. So if I go around boasting, that I grab
women's genitals, yeah.
Okay,
believe it or not, if you go around saying you grab women's genitals for fun and even if they don't let you, if you go into a case about rape, they're gonna say, you know what, this guy seems a little bit more rapey. Yeah, if you hang out with P. Diddy and Jeffrey Epstein, they're gonna say this guy seems a little bit more rapey. Yeah, that is a standard we hold in society.
Hold on, so I want to hear your logic. So if I go around saying that I kill people, right, and then somebody says, well, 30 years ago this guy tried to kill me. There was nobody around to see it. There was no witnesses. I have no evidence, but he did, and I'm found guilty, right? How is that right? There has to be, in order for someone to be charged with a crime, there has to actually be evidence and witnesses that it happened. You can't just say, well, he goes around saying that he grabs women by the vagina, so he must have done it. He must have. We have no evidence and no witnesses, but we're going to take her word for it because Donald Trump. You know what that was? That was we hate Donald Trump. We're going to find him guilty so that it'll make him look bad and it'll hurt his chances of winning the election. Didn't work.
Carol had two. She had two corroborating witnesses, Lisa Birnbach and Carol Martin. Additional accusers from the same location. There actually were witnesses that testified in the case.
Actual act happening.
There were witnesses from the case. They saw signs of it, signs of physical.
What signs?
No, there were no signs of physical evidence that presented at the trial. But yeah, she had corroborating witnesses that were willing to come out and put their names on it. So they did have that. And it was just a civil case.
Up in court.
It's a civil trial. You can say what you want about it, but in a civil trial, I mean, when someone says comments like publicly about all the touching women and like he said on camera that he wants to have sex with his own daughter multiple times, like that is a line where people would follow. Like, okay, this guy seems a little bit weird around women at that point.
Gotcha. Well, to be fair, he said when you're rich and famous, they will let you grab them by the pussy. He didn't say I just walk up to women on the street and just stick my hand down there. Didn't say that, but that's fine. He also didn't say, Mexicans are rapists and murderers. But you guys would probably swear that up and down too.
But don't you think it's weird if you say like, didn't. You know, if I say like, for example, that like, you know, not all Trump supporters are racists and Trump supporters hate America. Not all of them, but Trump supporters are racist.
Don't, actually, I'll be honest with you.
No, but like when you say that, you're implicitly saying that, you know, most of them are. I mean, some I assume are good people, but most of them are. So like you're sending a clear message with that. And like Trump has said, you can tell when they're criminals to start looking at them.
I remember the line word for word that he said, and he never even mentioned Mexicans. He never even mentioned Mexicans. He said Mexico is not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people with a lot of problems. And I'm sure some of them are good people. So in case you don't know, and you know this, you're a smart guy. You probably know 10 times more than I do. The people that come over the southern border come from like up to 150 different countries. They're not just Mexicans. See, that's ignorant, dumbass people.
Well, he does hate all immigrants, but like immigrants have a
ridiculous statement. That's a ridiculous statement.
Okay, when you say like immigrants, like some I assume are good people, like the vast majority, like immigrants have a lower crime rate, even including illegal immigrants. Immigrants have a lower violent crime rate and lower crime rate than American citizens.
Illegally. We're talking about the people that break the law and come here illegally. Once you come over the border illegally, you are a criminal.
The issue with that is right now they are deporting green card holders, they're deporting visa holders, they're deporting legal asylum seekers, they're deporting people who did come over illegally because of their speech, or they're sending people to gulags in El Salvador without due process. So they're infringing upon these rights.
You're here illegally.
Okay.
What due process? If you break the law, that's it. You're gone. There's no due process.
If someone's you have due process, for example, for the El Salvador thing, because they're sending you to like a concentration camp essentially in El Salvador. It's a third world prison that you're going to be doing forced labor till you're tortured and died. And we sent innocent people there because we had no due process. No, but we sent innocent people there, like knowingly innocent people that were seeking legal asylum here.
Well, if they come into the country illegally, then it is.
No. Okay, they came in legally. They came in legally. We sent people there who came in legally. There's a bunch of stories of this happening. Like I think it's up to like 50 people proven.
Okay, there's stories.
There's
proven.
Okay, there's 50 clear examples of this happening. If you Google any of the cases, we are sending innocent people to slave camps with our taxpayer dollars. And I appreciate if you have any moral care in the world, you should research this shit, because we're doing dumb shit as a country, bad shit as a country, sending innocent people to their death essentially to work in slavery, and people are too blind to even give a shit about it because they want to worship people in politics.
You must have hated Obama.
Bro, this has never happened before under any president. We're using the alien.
You must have really hated Obama. Though,
Google these cases. Hey, buddy. This has not happened. This has not happened under. No. This is different. We're sending people who are here legally.
Oh, this is different.
We're sending people who are here legally. We're sending people who are here legally. Legal. You care about legality, right? Yeah, because they are legal here. They are legal here, and we're saying that they. Buddy, you are avoiding this very hard. Okay, they are legally here.
I agree with you. I agree.
Can you shut up for 2 seconds? You're so whiny, bro.
Yeah.
They are here legally. They claim they're members of a gang without any proof. We sent knowingly innocent people who are not in a gang to El Salvador to die in slave camps, and the White House is laughing about it every single day, violating constitutional rights to due process. And everyone needs due process in America, or no one has due process in America. It's in our Constitution like that for a reason.
I could have sworn I heard Pam Bondi say that all these guys they sent over there were here. They entered the country illegally.
It was proven that was not true. She lied. She lies her ass off. She's still lying. She's still lying.
Thank you.
Look up the guy. Let me see. Let me look up his name.
Hey, would you agree? Would you agree with me that there is a media bias against Trump, a large media bias against Trump, or the media is fair?
It's rightfully biased against Trump.
I don't watch Fox News.
It's rightfully biased against Trump.
It's hugely biased against Trump, and that's why a lot of people like me
it's rightfully biased against Trump.
Are so fucking pissed off. Because let me tell you something.
Yeah, because you believe fake shit. You believe lies. You believe lies.
I'm not even a Republican. Yeah, like the media is telling the truth. If the media was fair and they just criticized everybody or they treated everybody the same, and I'm talking about all the presidents, all the politicians, people wouldn't be that upset. But
do you think Trump?
Treated hugely unfairly.
Unfairly. When Trump pardons the January 6th people who beat up cops, like, you think it's unfair for the media to go against them for that?
I know. I think some of those people, a lot of those people, should have been pardoned because a lot of them were just not doing anything.
That's the line they taught you. That's the line Fox News taught you. Fox News taught you to say that. No, I give a shit about I give a shit about our law enforcement. I give a shit about our law enforcement. Whatever asshole told you to believe that, look up the cases. There are 0 people who were jailed when he gave those pardons. There were 0 people who were just there that day. 0 people from that list of pardons were just there doing nothing that day. I promise you, give me a name from the list. They did some dumb shit at the Capitol, or they were trying to harm someone, or they beat up a cop or something. None of the people that were still in prison were just there that day. No, what you just said right there is completely false. I have these discussions every day, and all of you people make yes, all of you people make this carve out for people that beat the shit out of cops because Trump told you to believe something. When these are people who did do shit, the people that were just there that day who got let in, they were not in prison anymore. If they went to jail, it was for a couple months. They were not still in jail. I know for a fact I went through pretty much all these cases that Trump and he let go. Regardless, let's say that were true what you just said. I'm sorry I give a shit about law enforcement, but if what is true, if what you said is just true, why did Trump pardon the people that beat the shit out of cops with lead pipes? Why not go through the list and pick out the ones that beat the shit out of cops with lead pipes and poked out eyeballs and made them lose fingers and had permanent brain damage? Why not? Why still pardon them?
I gotta look into it because I didn't hear about any of this stuff, and I did plenty of.
Yeah, because the media you watch is biased. Because you were told that the media that's against Trump is biased. Yes, it is because you don't know basic facts about this shit, and you don't give a shit. You need to. I don't. You have all the fake talking points from them. Look up these actual cases. Do your own research. Don't go to the media. Go to the actual evidence go to the legal cases in courtrooms. Because the 2020 election as well. Every case for the 2020 election, if you go and look at it, Trump lied his ass off. In Pennsylvania, there was no fraud. In Georgia, there was no fraud. In Wisconsin, there was no fraud. Trump challenged it. Arizona, no fraud. Every time Trump's team was brought to a courtroom to present actual facts, they had 0 facts. So they turned to propagandizing in the media. The 2020 election, the fact that Trump says it was still stolen, it should be disqualifying for him to be to be out of a prison right now. He should be in a prison for the 2020 election.
I actually agree with you, believe it or not. Now let's see how much you agree with me on. Do you think that we both know that after the 2020 election, and I think Trump lost the election illegitimate. I've always said that. Do you think that after the election, when Jack Dorsey, at the time CEO of Twitter, you know where I'm going with this, and also Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Facebook, came out and admitted that they were outside agencies reach out to them to suppress the Hunter laptop story till after the election, and also you had them. They testified that a lot of the FBI and other organizations were reaching out to them to suppress conservative voices on their platform. Wouldn't you say that that's election interference?
So I've looked through this case multiple times. I've seen what the FBI said. FBI did not say anything about conservatism.
They were lying.
What they said, Zuckerberg lied on Joe Rogan when he said that. 100% he did lie. Because I reviewed the documents Meta put out.
Anti-Trumper just made this stuff up.
Yeah, because Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, but
you
have to. But you need to not be gullible because Mark Zuckerberg cares about one thing. Do you know what that one thing is? Do you know what the one thing Mark Zuckerberg cares about?
Probably money.
Yes,
now,
so he goes with whatever administration is in there.
Hey,
he blamed the FBI,
but
but remember, he blamed the FBI for like censoring Trump. Zuckerberg did that before he even claims the FBI, before Biden was even in office. Like Zuckerberg lied his ass off about the timelines there.
Well, we do know the Hunter laptop thing was suppressed. We do know that for a fact. Now,
do you know why it was suppressed though? Do you know why though?
Probably because they thought that if it came out, it could potentially hurt Joe Biden's chance of winning the election.
No, okay, so what happened was, there was.
It wasn't that. Go ahead, let me hear this one.
Okay, I need to just talk to you just like directly for a second.
Hey guys, listen to this fucking guy. I'm gonna put on speaker.
Hey, the fact that you're getting so riled up about this, when I just try to tell you like facts about how the case went down, is a bad sign for you.
I got a lawyer on the phone. Come on, continue.
No, but seriously, if you look at the actual documentation from the FBI, what happened during that election was, this is proven that foreign actors were spending money in this area, spreading disinformation and fake shit, just fake news. And they said to social media companies, watch out for potential sources of fake news. and Facebook and Twitter and all of them, they flagged the Hunter Biden story as potential disinformation. They reached out to the FBI saying, hey, is this story fake or not? And the FBI did not respond. So it was a private company's decision to censor the Hunter Biden story for like 2 or 3 weeks because they wanted to verify if it was a real story or not. But the FBI never, there's no proof at all. And if Mark Zuckerberg was telling the truth, I always say, if you have truth, bring the damn receipts. He never gave receipts for this. He has no proof of it. He made the shit up because at the time he gave a completely different story until Trump won because he wanted to kiss Trump's ass because he wants Trump to not crack down on him. So he wanted to just suck up to Trump for that purpose. But I looked at the actual facts for this information, for this case, and the FBI never said ban conservatism or ban like the Hunter Biden story.
Damn,
there's actually very little interaction. I know, but there's actually very, very little interaction from the FBI. Because if the FBI did say, for example, ban conservatism or whatever, I'd have a problem with that. I would not be okay with that. But I mean, it's hard to, as a social media company, they made decisions. It's all the private company though. There was zero directive right from the government.
Well, you've done a hell of a lot more homework than I have. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention, I wanted to hear your opinion because I value your opinion. You actually sound like a smart guy. The
I appreciate
Russian collusion thing.
We'll take back. Yeah, no, I appreciate this because I think it's good. It's good that we could have conversations and de-escalate and have real conversations about stuff. Because I mean, the media does on both sides.
Absolutely.
All
They're
media
terrible,
has this
terrible.
they have us fighting each other over dumb shit all the time.
Now, the Russia collusion thing, that went on for 2 years, and then obviously that created a lot of division. And that was kind of when I first started paying attention to all this shit. And it was on the news every day in, day out. And we know we did learn that Hillary Clinton found her campaign was fined some money for using campaign money for this Christopher Steele Russian dossier thing, which she fabricated. And after the 2-year investigation, they spent a lot of money, a lot of resources, and they kind of came out and said we have no evidence of one vote being overturned by Russian influence. But the media never came out and said, well, they never kind of like vindicated Trump for that whole thing. They never said, yeah, the Russia collusion thing was a made up thing. So what's your opinion? Do you still believe Russia definitely interfered with the election? That wasn't made up. Because that really hurt Trump to his first couple of years of him being the president. And I think maybe it was because they wanted to hang like a cloud over his head to distract people from maybe what Trump was doing at the time.
So you could look up one key reason this started. Do you know Paul Manafort?
Yes.
Paul Manafort, and you could look this up and verify it. From 2004 to 2014, he was paid by Russia. This is not a joke. He was paid by Russia. He was in Ukraine as a Russian agent to push pro-Russian messaging in Ukraine until the 2014 revolution, when the more pro-Western, more pro-freedom government took over. At that time, and the pro-Russian leader got ousted in 2014, and Paul Manafort actually left Russia. So he is tied to Russia very closely, getting paid by them as an actual propaganda agent. He ended up running Trump's campaign for he was actually Trump's campaign chairman, so that put eyes on them initially, which I also think is a cause for concern. If he's paid by Russia, which is a country that puts bounties on American troops and pays and tried paying and arming the Taliban and other countries to kill Americans. And they've done a bunch of they just bombed churches in Ukraine today on Palm Sunday. And targeted them and targeted civilians. So that's a cause for concern. But in the Russia case, what was not proven is that Russia worked with that Russia worked with Trump directly. There was communication between the campaigns. That was never proven, but it was proven that Russia was spending money and putting efforts towards pro-Trump messaging during that election.
I think you might consider that, or most people might consider that election not interference, but election meddling has always been going on. But I think the narrative was, for 2 years in the media, of course, and this is when I didn't really have any skin in the game, so to speak. I didn't really care. It was every day it was Russia, 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 and I think this whole thing was peddled just for political reasons. Obviously, everybody even the media was in on it. They know they're not. We know who owns and runs the media in this country. So it's sort of people. I'm explaining this stuff to you because I'm explaining to you why MAGA people, Trump supporters, are so angry, because they feel like Donald Trump came along and he was this outsider guy, and love him or hate him, a lot of people don't like him, but he was who the people voted for. Maybe the people just thought they wanted something different, someone who's not a career politician, and it was just he was under attack.
Do you respect someone do you respect a Bernie? Do you respect someone like that?
I don't know much about Bernie, but I would like Bernie to get a term. I've always said I would like Bernie for the last 8 years. I've always said, let's give Bernie a chance. And of course, the Democrats didn't want him in there. but let's give Bernie a chance so he can maybe push. And I don't think 4 years will be enough, but he could put his socialist policies or whatever it is that he does, Democrat socialism, whatever it is, so we can see how effective these things are, because you never know. I don't know anything about that stuff, but maybe that would be a better way to run.
Like getting money out of politics is really big to me.
Yes.
Like universal, we don't need Bernie's model for it, but some kind of universal healthcare. We're the only country in the world that pays so much for healthcare. We don't cover people. We have companies screwing us over. Some type of healthcare system that, I don't know, when we're ranked, like, we spend by far the most money on healthcare. I think we spend like $13,000 per person on healthcare. And we have like the 20th ranked healthcare system in the world. Canada spends like $7,000 per person. Like, we have so much money and wealth, but we get screwed over on healthcare and money in politics. And like big companies like BlackRock, I think, should pay more in taxes, because they make money like manipulating our housing markets and manipulating our health insurance markets. Like, I think they should be taxed more. And that's one of my big issues I have with, like, Trump. And I understand the urge to want something different, and like Obama promised a lot of this stuff too, right? Like Obama promised to get us better trade deals, to get us get money out of politics. Like Obama spoke about all this, but he didn't really deliver. And I think there is a hunger for it. The issue is the next person with that message right now in the Democrats is probably going to be AOC. I think she carries a lot of the policies Bernie does. But she's someone who was actually a normal person. She wasn't like rich to start off with. She came from being a bartender.
She comes from where I grew up. It's right around my Park in the Bronx.
Yeah. So like, she's gonna be the person with the anti-money politics. Like her and Bernie have taken $0 from corporations their entire careers, and she's been in Congress like 6 years. Her net worth is $30,000. She's the poorest member of Congress, and it's like that's like the cleanest you can get away from big money.
Now, do you see, we're 4 years away roughly from the next election, do you see someone like AOC being the prominent Democrat person, or do you think the Democrat Party themselves would want to put her up there, and that's who they want to lead their party?
I don't think they will, and I think that's the exact reason why they need it. Like, they were in Utah today. Her and Bernie were in Utah today in a off year having an event. And like they had 25,000 people in Utah in an arena. They had 5,000 people outside that couldn't get in. And I think like she's popular enough with a lot of people. And I think it'll look really bad if these elitists come out and they're like, "Wow, she was a dumb bartender trying to be." It's like, I think that'll have the opposite effect. I think that actually really help her politically when people start attacking her for being like a normal person.
Yeah, she had a big crowd in California, if I'm not mistaken. It may have been yesterday or the day before. Well, I'm not a big AOC fan necessarily. I'm not going to say I am. I haven't done too much research, but I can't say that she doesn't have a base or a popularity. So it should. Hey, I'm sorry about all that yelling at you, dude. It was nothing personal, man. You sound like a smart guy, and I respect that.
No, it's all about. I mean, I grew up in the coal region, middle of Appalachia, pretty much. So I'm used to the trash talk. So I appreciate the call, man. I appreciate the conversation.
No,
I think we can.
You too, man.
We need these conversations.
Absolutely. Once we get all that anger out and all that stuff, and then we start talking sense, and it's healthy. Hopefully, we can do more of that in the future.
All right, yeah. Thank you for calling in. I hope you come around the channel again. Have a good night, man.
Absolutely. You too, brother. All right.
Yeah. I love America, dude. I don't know if the liberal mind can comprehend how much Bernie would have freaking won. I don't think they comprehend how popular Bernie would have been. I don't think they understand how popular AOC can be, because I don't think the consultants or focus groups can really capture what this means, because Trump is a liar, and if you give them a different narrative, a different future, if you're really advocating for the stuff Trump pretends to advocate for, you can blow this stuff out the water. You can blow them out. And I hope Democrats don't make the wrong decision here. And we need to make sure they don't. Because that conversation is so interesting. And it's, people have issues with politics, very similar ones, but different ways to tackle it. And people are busy. People work jobs. People have all this stuff to do. And like, this guy threatened to beat me up. And at the end, he's like calling me. He's like, "Yeah, thanks for the conversation, brother. Sorry for all that talk earlier." And it's like, bro, we don't need to be like this. We don't need to be fighting each other. We don't need to have these divisions in society that seem to be permanent. It doesn't need to be this way. We can all find a way to work on making this country better. That's what patriotism means. We're not nationalists. We're patriots. We care about making this country better. And conversations like that really just show you the full range of everything. And to keep your head in conversations. Okay, keep your head in conversations. I was saying some pretty nasty stuff to him at the beginning, and he was saying some stuff about me, about beating me up. But like, under that, like, I don't know. It's probably more of a, an even stronger reason why I should probably get involved in this at a deeper level, whether politically or running for something or something, because I don't know. I just know I know I have a lot of, I know I have the ability to do this pretty well, and I think voices like mine are going to be needed. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate the support. I just saw some donations on Cash App as well, and one on SoFi from earlier, or coffee from earlier. Thank you, Rita, for $15. Hey, turn that down. Thank you. And how to say lore, LW. Thank you for going through the agony of talking to people. I wouldn't want it any other way. Thank you so much for the support and the donations, and yeah, thank you for the coffee earlier as well. Run for office. I feel a sense of I need to do something, and I just see people talk on the internet, and they just don't got they don't got that. I don't know. I see people running for office. They just don't got that. I see them. I see politicians on CNN, Democrats, who sound like absolute dog shit. Like, honestly, like, they are not built for this. They're really not built for this in the same way. But the issue is I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't have any connections. I don't know how to fundraise. I don't know how to run campaigns. I don't know anything. So it's gonna be a crash course for me. And I'd be truly starting from the direct bottom, from directly the lowest position you could possibly start from in politics. But I do think support would come in pretty strong if I do get out there. So AOC, Sanders, you're loving that socialism. You know what? I do love getting money out of politics. I do love getting people health care. I do love banning congressional stock trading. If you think that's socialist, if giving kids school lunch is socialist, then you're just a beta male and you should go cry somewhere else, dumbass. Okay. Let's look at this real quick. I'll talk to this guy really quick, just for fun.
Hello, sir.
Hi. You're waiting here, so I wanted to chat with you quick.
All right, how you doing?
Doing all right. How about you?
Not bad. I am a Trump supporter. I voted for him last election, and I have a bad feeling to vote for him. I don't like his policies of deporting illegals without looking for if they're, providing to the economy. Like, some illegals are not bad, and I don't like how Trump just deports. If you're illegal, he's going to deport you. I think there should be like a system that, they would look at you first and then see if you're like a good person in the country, not committing any crime.
Yeah, like that one guy that was sent there, right? There's a few examples, not even deportations, but to that El Salvador prison, and they've been pretty cocky about it, claiming these are gang members with no due process, and you find out later they were seeking legal asylum away from gangs, escaping gangs to come to America to try and be a part of our American freedom legally through ports of entry that were assigned to them, and we're treating them like garbage and sending them to a death camp essentially in a third world country. And I appreciate you looking at that and being like, this isn't right, because there should be due process.
I've met people that are illegal in this country, and they seem like very honest people. They're scared to be deported because they've already been here for maybe 10 years. They have their house and all that, and some of them don't need to be deported because some of them are actually like helping the economy. Even though they're illegal, they're probably working jobs that like people that don't want to work, like working in the fields. I don't think like the average white guy is gonna want to work in the fields.
Well, it's not even just that. Like, if you're here and you're like most of these individuals we're talking about are like visa overstays, and we've been telling people we're gonna fix the immigration system for how long? every president, like, we're going to make a path to citizenship. If you're here benefiting the country, they're members of our community, their kids grew up here. Like, we deported a 10-year-old girl with brain cancer whose parents are working jobs in America. Like, why the hell are our taxpayer dollars going there? And why are we going after the freedom of speech of college kids? Because they're on visas who, like, we're deporting researchers. Like, there's a researcher that was from Russia that escaped there and was researching how to reverse the effects of aging in America. We're deporting that person potentially back to Russia to be jailed and probably killed. And it's like, why are we spending money on this?
Like Elon Musk, for example, I don't like how he sits in those cabinet meetings acting like he's elected. I know he's a billionaire, but those cabinet meetings are for people that are elected.
That's making Trumpers that I know feel uneasy, although they support Trump, because they're, most people are against money in politics, even if Trump lies about being against it most of the time, or all of the time. I don't want to be too whatever, but most people are against money in politics, and that's just so blatant. They talk about George Soros, and it's like I think Musk spent more in this one election for Trump than George Soros spent in his entire life in politics. I'm not sure why we keep, if we want to ban all money in politics, that's great. But if we're going to play party politics with it, like I call out Nancy Pelosi if she does stock trading, that's weird. I call out Kamala Harris for going to weird fundraisers. I call out the Hakeem Jeffries, Democrat House leader, for going to fundraisers. So I call it out on both sides. I'm against big money in general, which is why I prefer politicians who do small dollar fundraising. And especially with the conflict of interest with Musk too, organizations and federal agencies investigating his companies for fraud and abuse. It's funny that he's looking for waste, fraud, and abuse, although he's reported none of it, when in reality he's killing agencies that were looking for fraud and abuse from his companies, which is a big conflict of interest.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I believe that the only reason why Trump really won the election is because Joe Biden was, I guess the real truth is he's too slow. He's old.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that.
They didn't have a real candidate, so the only option was to vote for Trump, because Kamala Harris, I mean, if you look at her election results, she didn't really seem like she really had a good backing. All of her rallies were, I mean, it's true, people were paid to go to her rallies, and I believe
I don't know if that. I've been to a lot of rallies where they claim there's paid protesters. I have not met any. I'll let you know if I do. I wish I can get paid to go to protest or get paid to go to rallies, but I have not. I promise you, if I find something like that, I am very entrenched in this stuff.
Honest,
I have not had any examples.
The only reason why I hear it is because I hear on the news channels, and the news isn't always telling the truth.
Yeah. The one thing I would say is that the paid protester thing is interesting. Although Kamala was not that popular with swing voters, people who are super involved in politics were excited when she replaced Biden, because Biden was a definite loss and she gave a chance. And all the stuff with Trump violating due process, Project 2025 had that in it, and how to overthrow federal agencies that were even firing veterans from the VA and everything, and cutting veterans' healthcare, and firing just federal workers that are working on kids cancer research, which is insane that we cut that. That was all warned about along the campaign, and Trump said he was going to violate due process for immigrants, and the media didn't report on it, left or right, really. But that's why so many people were excited about Kamala, not because they did not like her, but she was the only option that could give us a spark of hope in winning. But I definitely agree that the Democrats put forward terrible candidates. And I hope they put someone forward like a Bernie, who I hear people say they might not like Bernie, but they know he's genuine.
I believe that Trump he's a good politician, but he has his own policies that don't really align with the United States. Example, deporting all the illegals, even if you've been a good person, they're still going to get deported.
Yeah, people don't like that, right? People do not like that.
I think most illegals are not criminals. I mean, some of them are, but
yeah. Why are we spending resources going against innocent people when there are criminals out there to go after? It makes no sense at all from any level. And imagine if Joe Biden deported Jordan Peterson for being against pronouns, and now they're going against they're deporting college kids for saying for writing op-eds that are mildly against Israel or against the war in Gaza.
Some of them are protesting for Palestine. I didn't know it was illegal to protest, because
it's not though.
Freedom of press, or freedom of
Yeah,
expression.
I would argue they're violating rights. It's a complicated
Yeah.
situation because they're just claiming they are security threats or supporting terrorists with no due process and no evidence, right? But they're using an abuse of authoritarian powers, which was in Project 2025 that Trump lied about knowing about, although he's following it to a T. Like they're floating using the alien, they're using the Alien Enemies Act from like the 1700s, and they want to use the Insurrection Act possibly to do martial law. And it's like if he does martial law, I'm hoping there's a huge pushback against it.
Yeah, right.
Hope so. Is there like when you like the paid protester thing? Like I can verify if I ever see something like that, I'll definitely update it on my channel. So I hope you
Well, the
are able
problem
to
is that
stick
the
around
paid
and.
protesters is when the protests had ended, almost immediately everyone just left like it was time to go home from work.
But
It
like
just seemed
after,
like
but when I go to a rock concert, when the concert's over, everyone goes home at the same exact time. It's just because the event's over, right? Like it could just be because the
yeah,
event ends.
but what it seemed like is they were just there to get paid, be at the event, and then just pack
But
their bags and go home.
when there's buses, there's a lot of people who don't drive. Especially in cities, there's not that much parking, so there will be busing that bring retirement communities to events. And I've seen these, and I've been a part of these, and I'm actually on the ground.
Well, the problem is
Yeah.
that why does Kamala Harris have to pay people to go to her rallies? If they support, a politician, why do they have to be paid or convinced to go to
Well,
a
what I'm
rally?
saying is they don't get paid. I'm just saying they don't
Well,
get
not
paid.
all of them get paid, but there is proof that some rallies were
There's some
set up.
campaign workers,
Yeah.
but there's not like viewers getting paid. Because I knew people like there's overflow to these events. There's like when I went to Philadelphia for their rally, there were 5,000 people who couldn't get in. There was a lot of people there. Unless if they're paying extra people, they're wasting money then. Because a lot of people got turned away. There's huge excitement for these events. I'd recommend like if there's an event near you, I'd recommend even if you're against it. I think it's good to hear all sides. I mean, I've been to Republican events. If I know Bernie and AOC are going to red states and blue states, they're going through like Utah, I think
Yeah.
like Montana and everywhere. I would recommend like going in person, like maybe talking to some people, just saying, you're looking, you just want to learn more. If you meet anyone that's an asshole to you, just like
So we can
disregard
move
them.
on to the national debt.
Sure.
So when Joe Biden was in office, he paid all these nonprofit organizations, and I've heard billions of dollars for no reason. These nonprofit owners, or I guess CEOs, bought themselves mansions, so many cars, and I don't know why the Biden administration paid these nonprofits billions of dollars, and then we're not paying for all these veterans that have no housing. So it's not very fair that some people are getting paid billions of dollars, but we have people that are homeless that can't even get like $1 from the government. The only minimum is they can get the welfare that's provided by the state.
Well, I would say that so Biden had one of the largest increases to the VA in American history when it comes to their like staffing and everything, and Trump is going back to 2019 numbers, so he's going to cut all the workers that Biden added. Trump just cut off funding for North Carolina. He cut off FEMA funding from North Carolina, the same place he used for politics. He said Biden did not want to help them. Biden gave full funding. Biden gave full funding to North Carolina. Trump is cutting off that funding. And on USAID or like supporting these other organizations, USAID and foreign aid in general, all foreign aid made up, I think, 1% of the total budget, or maybe less than 1% of the total budget, for the federal budget. So if you're talking about some contracts that went to the wrong place, private businesses, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, they all hire a bunch of contractors and consultants for different jobs. Is every contract going to be perfect? No. But we have good evidence to prove that, the government, or like Social Security or Medicare, the fraud rate for those is much lower than any private industry. So any like huge operation, there's a chance some money's going to go to places that like maybe you don't like. Different administrations spend money in different places. Maybe some organizations do different work in different areas. Like some NGOs will be media organizations. We actually killed NGOs that brought free press to China and Russia and other authoritarian countries. And I want to fund things like that. There's some things that we can disagree with. But having it be such a small part of the budget, foreign aid, we should just pick which things are good and which things are bad. I don't think we should have killed, all of
I agree
USAID.
with that. All these federal workers were hired because of the DEI policy. Because a lot of veterans apply to federal jobs, and I think it's the 1943 Veterans Act, where if you're a veteran, you have, you get first in line if you apply.
Oh, do you mean DEI as in like
So,
everyone gets hired, like veterans, or
so
if you have a disability or anyone?
no,
Like,
DEI is something that was something that should have never happened because it was a big problem. Yeah.
Okay, so on DEI, so DEI, when it first originated, what they mean by diversity, equity, and inclusion, when it comes to like black people, for example, or race issues, no one believes this number when I tell them, but I work within groups that talk about DEI, and less than 10% of DEI is like race based. Most of it is based on veterans, based on like women opportunities, based on I was a DEI hire to one of the colleges I went to because I was from a poor rural area. I was a poor white kid from a rural family, or Appalachian, coal town. So I was able to get into a college. They took that into account. They said this kid had a pretty shitty upbringing. We should give him a shot. So DEI from the base level from federal law is like 1960s laws that say, for example, if you're hiring for a position, you need to give that job application to all races, all genders, everything.
So what I just told you,
yeah.
the 1943 Veterans Act, so it gives veterans first in line for positions in the federal government, which the Biden administration refused to follow that act, and they would prefer to follow the DEI policy that was put in.
Yeah, but Biden
It caused a big problem because you were hiring all these people that had disabilities. They were really incompetent. It just ruined the government. It just ruined
I would just be
everything.
careful when you say that. And you could say something too, DJ. But like,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd be careful. Just be careful when you hear media stories to connect them to like what facts we can connect to, like the air traffic controllers. Like, for jobs like that, like I know Trump blamed DEI on that, but you have to just imagine, like, would they put someone with a disability, who could not do this job safely, that saves people's lives or keeps people safe, if they can't actually perform that job, or if like, would we send someone into combat who cannot fit the requirements for combat? It's like we don't actually do that. Like that, there's no examples of that happening. We would not put someone who's incompetent in these positions. But I'll let DJ expand on that, so I have some break from talking.
With DEI. There's a lot of firefighters that get hired. They go to the academy, get hired, and then they got to do the job. A lot of them were DEI, and they were like refusing to do their job. Like there was a good example. There was a firefighter who was stuck inside of a building that was on fire, ready to collapse, and there was a DEI firefighter outside of that building who refused to go save that firefighter, and that firefighter died because of the DEI policies.
Okay, for the chat, we have one of our mods in the chat as well, DJ in Discord. If you want to join Discord, DJ's in here. DJ is our modern philosopher, aka philosophy student, undergrad, who's very intelligent, the smartest person in America right now.
Please stop it. I was the Walmart troll caller. You knew that, Jolah.
I know. Yeah, it was good. It was a good bit. I'm gonna post that to TikTok.
Charles, could you describe one of the provisions of like one of these policies?
The provisions?
Yeah, like what are one of the things that these policies do? Like what does it say in the policy that results in this hiring bias?
So it's to create a fair workplace for everyone. It was pretty much it's aligned with the EEO policy. The equal opportunity employer.
Yeah.
That's what it really is. To give everyone a fair chance. But I believe that it was abused. It was abused because of people's race. People's disability.
So if I'm a person who doesn't know anything about this, what would you show me to indicate that it was being abused?
Yeah, let me get that document. I have a couple notes I have saved.
Sure.
Just give me a second. If you want to talk, I'll get my notes.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Because if they were doing something like direct affirmative action where it's like we're gonna actively weigh your race or your sexual orientation when determining whether we should hire you, then I would say there's valid reason for concern about that. But as far as I've seen, that's not what DEI policies do. But I'm not super well read on this. So if you have something that indicates that,
No, you're right.
yeah,
You're right. What you just said. Um, the DEI is supposed to be um, unbiased for a lot of people, to apply for a job or work for the federal government. But it was really abused. Like, let's say, I'm not a racist, but let's say you're a black guy who applies, let's say, to become like just work for the government, and then you have a veteran who served, let's say, 20 years in the army or something. They would prefer to hire the black guy because they would consider it racist to not hire him. That's why it was really abused. It was really abused.
wait, so when did this happen?
It happened all the time during the Biden administration. I mean, you can look at a lot of people that were appointed, like in the cabinet, people that were like really didn't know what they were doing. That's one reason like the Biden administration failed, because they were hiring people in the federal government that just had no idea what they were doing, and then they had people who knew what they were doing, who had experience, but they would prefer to follow their DEI policy. I'm my fingers. Yeah.
Do you have a name for, like, I don't want to
No,
put
I
you on
don't
the
have a
spot,
name.
but is
It
there,
just
okay,
it's
so
happened. It happened like for the 4 years that he was in office. This is why the economy collapsed. This is why the uh, U.S. economy is in trillions of dollars in debt, because the Biden administration just refused to follow its acts. They refused to, acknowledge that people had all these experiences, and they would prefer to hire people that
so
are just of
it feels
color.
like there we're getting into specifics of a different topic, which is the economic policy, which we can get to in a second. I just want to clarify, like, usually if something's happening a bunch, like we'll have examples of it, and we'll have specific examples that we can point to. But what I'm getting so far is just this broad feeling that if Biden's administration's economic policy was bad, it must be because of DEI hires. But that's kind of like, I kind of want to do like a scientific method kind of thing, like rather than just looking for a correlation, like, look, there was more diversity, and also look, the economy was bad. Like, I would want to see something more than that, that there was actually someone underqualified or unqualified that was hired or appointed to the cabinet. Do you have any specific examples of that?
Well, I do, but I don't really have a lot of time.
Okay,
But we can move on to another topic. Like
sure.
the DEI thing is a long, a long
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, we could talk about the economic policy if you want. You brought up that the Biden administration hurt the economy. Um,
Do
I'm not.
tariffs. What about tariffs and Walmart?
Well, the tariffs, I don't think the tariffs are a really good idea.
Okay.
Trump and the president of China are going back and forth. I'm gonna increase this tariff on you 125%. At the end of the day, the U.S. taxpayer is gonna pay the tariff. I mean, the person that's gonna import the goods they're not gonna pay the tariff. They're gonna make the taxpayer pay for it.
It's a tax. It's a tax for
Yeah,
us, right?
it's
We're gonna be
also,
paying
I
that
mean,
tax.
you were talking about how illegal immigrants often do the types of jobs that Americans don't want to do. The tariffs, the kinds of manufacturing jobs that we want to quote unquote bring back to America, that's more of the types of jobs that Americans like we would prefer not to do.
Yeah, that's why they send all the jobs over to those China. They pay them
Sure,
like 40 cents an hour or something. I don't know how much you get paid over
sure,
there. Yeah.
right. So, but as far as Biden's economic policy, I mean, what do you think? What's a policy or two that the Biden administration passed that you think hurt the economy between 2021 and
Well, the first thing is
2025?
giving money to Ukraine, Because
Okay.
one thing is that Russia is not going to stop with this war with Ukraine. I mean, Russia has more manpower. They have more. They have more, guns, more artillery. Russia actually makes more artillery shells than we do in one day. They make so much artillery in one day that we just can't match how much they make. And we got Biden over here trying to stop Russia by providing billions to Ukraine, thinking that they're going to win the war eventually. And then you can see now Trump is in office. He cut all the funding to Ukraine that wasn't needed, because I don't know why the U.S. is again putting their nose into war in Europe. If our country has our own problems, we're trillions of dollars in debt. We have a massive illegal population. I don't know how many millions, but Biden was worrying about other countries giving money, billions of dollars to other countries, like including non-profit organizations. The Veterans Affairs would just collapse because the Biden administration refused. Yeah.
Yeah, if we can go one at a time. I think you brought up a couple of things. First is like the economic impact, which is like we can either stay focused on that, or we can talk more about the morality and like the strategic aspect of it. But as far as the economic stuff goes, we provided like between 60 and 70 billion to Ukraine. A good portion of that is weapons that we're not going to be using anyway, that have been overvalued because we sold them for or we valued the weapons at what we originally paid to produce the weapons, adjusted for inflation today. But that's not anywhere near, like, that's way above what the weapons would actually be worth if we tried to sell them, because they're relatively dated, they're not authorized, or they're not up to par for use for the American military. And so when we think about 66 billion, I mean, I know it sounds like a huge number, but we've spent that over what, 4 years, a little over, give or take a few months. Over 4 years we've spent, say, $70 billion. I mean, even we can go to the high end of what Trump is saying is like 150 billion. That's I think 1% of our federal budget. Like, that's just pennies in relation to what we spend in a single year. So I'm curious how you think that funding Ukraine could have a serious negative effect
One
on our
other
economy.
comparison as
Well, it
well.
had a
It's
negative
like if
effect
every
because
U.S.
go
person,
ahead.
if we sent two large pizzas per American, we would have sent 2 large pizzas per person every year of the crisis. We would have sent 6 total large pizzas over the past 3 years to Ukraine, to put it into pizza terms.
So if
Sure.
you look at how much Biden gave to Ukraine to win the war, because they were hoping they were going to win the war, then you have Trump coming into office saying he's going to end the war on day one, but then you see Putin doesn't want to be in line with the peace terms, because he knows Russia's going to win the war eventually, because Biden's no longer in office providing all this free money. And then you have the president of Ukraine telling Trump, "Oh, the money you guys gave us, we're not going to pay it back anymore. It's free money." And then who's going to pay for all that money they gave? The taxpayer.
Yeah, again, I mean, Jola kind of put the thing in perspective. Every American, if you average taxes out, is gonna pay for, maybe a couple children's birthday parties every year in exchange for Ukraine to have an extended war effort. And I think the goal was never really so that Ukraine could win the war per se. Although I do think
And
Ukraine got a lot closer to doing that than
so
anyone expected. The goal was just, sorry, I'll finish up real quick. The goal was really just to show that Russia, really any country, cannot just invade a neighboring country because it wants to have that country without there being consequences.
Well, the problem is that Ukraine wanted to join NATO. That was the whole reason why Russia invaded Ukraine, because they want to be a part of NATO.
Why
You
is
know,
that
the
a
NATO
reason?
alliance, they're all against Russia. I mean, you have
Well, what do you mean when you say
34
against Russia?
Well, I'm gonna finish. So you have 34 countries that are forming an alliance against a superpower. Then you have Ukraine who wants to join NATO, which makes NATO closer to Russia, and which makes Russia more
NATO's
vulnerable
already
to attack.
been bordering Russia.
Well, and that's a good thing too. Is let's say Russia wins the war, because I truly believe they're gonna win the war eventually, or they're gonna come to like a peace terms where they're gonna take at least a big chunk of Ukraine, and then what's next is Russia gonna invade Poland, maybe Estonia or something. Do you really think the NATO alliance is gonna come to their defense? I don't really think NATO is gonna really come to their defense if they're not even providing more than 25% of the budget, because the United States is providing at least half of the budget for NATO. And what's going to happen when the U.S. says, "Oh, we're not going to pay for the defense anymore. We're gonna now it's your turn to pay for the defense."
World War III.
Well,
so
we're doing that with Ukraine, and Ukraine's not even in NATO. We have an obligation based off of the treaty that we're in to do that if a NATO country gets invaded. But yeah, so to my question that I asked a minute ago, what do you mean when you say NATO is against Russia? What does being against Russia mean?
So the whole point of the NATO alliance is it's against Russia. I mean, that's the whole point of NATO.
What do you mean by against? What does against Russia mean?
Because Russia, they tried to join NATO. I don't know when they tried to join. It was a long time ago. And NATO refused to let Russia in because the whole alliance is about Russia. It's about Russia because they're supposedly.
We can bracket that. I can grant that I would disagree with that characterization, but when you say against Russia, what do you mean by that? What does against Russia mean? Like, are they going to invade
What I
Russia?
mean,
Are they trying to bomb Moscow? Are they trying to? What is
give you a
NATO
good
against
example.
Russia?
I'll give you a good example. Let's say you and Jolah, let's say you guys formed an alliance, and I'm Russia. And then all of a sudden, I want to be friendly with you guys, so I'm offering to join your alliance, but you guys are refusing to let me join because I'm supposedly a bad person here, which Ukraine, it's the same reason for Ukraine, is they wanted to join NATO, so the NATO troops can get closer to Russia.
Well, okay, no, it's because these countries are invaded by
What problem does it cause?
It just. I'll go ahead.
Oh, sorry. What problem does it cause first?
The problem that it causes is that NATO they want to get closer and closer to Russia. So, because if you get a good example, in Europe, there's this big field. I don't remember the name, but Russia wants to have control of that. It's like a big line in Europe where it protects Russia, but NATO wants to take advantage of that line. I don't know the name again, which just makes it a problem.
Why is it a problem for NATO to be near Russia?
Oh, 1 second. Let me look at my notes one more time.
Yeah.
If you want to go ahead, while I'm looking at my notes.
No, we can. Don't want to bulldoze you. Not ideologically, at least.
Okay, here we go. Right here. I found it. So NATO, let's say, for example, Putin, I think he said in 1997, I believe, was there 1995? He was saying that NATO is a threat to Russia, and he demanded that NATO withdraws all its troops near the line that I told you, but I can't remember the name because it's been like 20 years since I've looked at it. And let me go scroll down on my notes one more time. Sorry, I have a lot of notes. It's hard for me to find it.
It's good to have notes. No, I'm still not sure what the issue is or what's threatening about NATO being near Russia.
I have it right here. I'm just trying to find a good part.
Yeah. Because I just think if you have two competing spheres of influence, right? You
Mhm.
have sort of the EU and America, and then you have Russia and their allies. It should be up to a country that's in the middle of those two sort of spheres of influence. It should be up to that country to freely decide who they want to work with, right? And so if a country like Ukraine decides that they want to have an economic and military alliance with the West instead of Russia, I'm not sure how that's threatening to Russia. You know, I don't see NATO saying anything about.
So you see all the past presidents, before Trump, Putin just, bullied the United States. They invaded Georgia in the 1990s because Georgia wanted to join NATO. And Russia said, "Oh, that's not going to happen. We're going to invade you so we can prevent that to happen." And now you see Georgia now has occupation of there's troops in Russia and Georgia because of this. And the same thing with Ukraine. They wanted to be like Georgia. Oh, we want to join NATO. And then here we go. Russia says, "Oh, that's not going to happen. So we're going to invade you." And at the end
But
of the
why is
day,
it bad for them? Why is it bad for them to join NATO though?
well, it's not bad for them to join NATO. It's just
Why is it
that
bad for
NATO is
Russia
just
if Ukraine joins NATO?
NATO is just, in my opinion, there's just a big alliance against Russia that just wants, Russia to not be on the map.
When you say, well, Russia to not be on the map, like you think NATO's intention or ultimate goal is to destroy Russia?
So the whole intention of the alliance is to be against Russia. We have 34 countries in NATO, I believe. There are aligned against Russia.
You keep saying against Russia, but I don't know. This is why I'm asking. I don't know what that means, because if you ask me what it means when we say against Russia, what my answer is going to be, well, against Russia just means against Russian invasion of a NATO member country. And I would say that being against Russia in that way is good because countries should not be able to invade other countries. But it sounds like you're saying something different when you say against Russia. You're saying like that there's some sort of aggressive attitude
So
that NATO
Russia
has towards
is a
Russia.
big bully. He's a big, kid in the high school who just wants to bully everyone, and everyone wants to form an alliance, to be against him. Like you can say, for example, when the Soviet Union collapsed in the 1991, Ukraine had nukes. They had nukes in the country, and Russia was saying, "Oh, this is going to become a problem." So, the treaty that they signed, we're gonna, if you disarm your nuclear weapons, we'll give you, we won't invade you, never. We'll give you aid. Then at the end of the day, Russia just turned her back on them. And
Yeah.
NATO, I mean, Ukraine wanted this to not happen, so they asked NATO, "Well, can we please join? We really need your help." And Russia's over here saying, "Oh, we're gonna violate the treaty that we signed in the 1990s, and we're not gonna allow you to join NATO, and so we're gonna, pretty much invade your country."
Yeah.
I believe that's the whole reason why Russia invaded Ukraine, because
Yeah. So that's not okay. Right, but that's like saying we're threatening the bully by not letting him bully like smaller kids in school. I would say like,
Well,
okay, well, it's not like I don't know if we're really threatening him, but if we're threatening him, we're threatening his ability to do something bad. We're the only thing we're threatening with Russia is their ability to invade other
'cause
countries.
I think that the NATO
That's
alliance
fine.
is a big joke. I don't think that Article 5 is going to be enacted if when Poland, when Ukraine finally the war is over, Putin's going to start looking at NATO. Oh, let me take Poland or something. Let me take a Lithuania. I think this whole alliance is just a big joke. At the end of the day, it's like a fake alliance. They all say we're going to come to your defense, but
Well, do you know that
at the end of the
NATO,
day,
but NATO, so like for example, NATO did come support the U.S. and NATO troops came and died for the U.S. after 9/11. So NATO troops have come for the U.S. and died for the U.S. And if the U.S. is going to back out of NATO and back out of Ukraine and do all this stuff and start trade wars with all these countries are going to start to not trust the U.S. anymore because we're not going to be trustworthy.
wait,
Other countries have
NATO
had their
troops have
soldiers
died?
die for us. NATO troops have died for the U.S. after 9/11 to go into the Middle East.
Which conflict or war?
Going to the Middle East after 9/11, we enacted Article 5 for that,
So
and NATO troops
that
complied.
wasn't NATO,
And
that was the
no, it was.
that was the,
Yes, it was. It was NATO.
coalition.
It was NATO. 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 It was Article 5.
Article
That's the only
5
time.
was
That's the only time
invoked,
Article 5
yeah.
was used. The only time Article 5 was used. And if you're going to say that we're not going to back up if they go into Poland or if they go into the EU, that's the same logic we have. When we appease any dictatorship that's going to keep on expanding, we're just telling the entire world we're not going to support any stability. We're being more pro-war because it's all going to devolve into crisis. So, like, the big question would be, at what point of Russia going through Europe would you say it's worthwhile for the U.S. to, especially, China is helping fund Russia. North Korea is helping give manpower to Russia. So at what point would you say... At what point would you help support? And we have no boots on the ground. This is very basic aid. We gave them very old weapons and not that much money. We only, in terms of GDP, we're like the 17th top country when it comes to donating to NATO. I think we might be barely, or not NATO, to Ukraine. We're like barely top 10. So at which point would you say the U.S. can support Europe against like Russia if Russia goes all throughout Europe?
Why I don't understand is that why did Biden provide all this free money? Well, it was supposedly going to be paid back, but the president.
No one ever said that. So at what point is there any point of Russia attacking Europe that you would say it's okay to support European countries if Russia goes into Europe more with China's help?
Well, I never said it was okay for Russia to invade. I think
you know what the question is. You know what the question is. Answer the question. At what point would you be okay with the U.S. Giving aid to Europe against Russia? Of them killing your
Well, if
European
you're providing an aid to a country that's at war, that would, in my eyes, be an act of war. But
that makes okay. So if another country invades, it's an act of war to provide defense to our allies. You're saying?
Yeah, it is an act of war.
So you're surrendering the entire globe to China then. So if we get into a World War III, you're saying the U.S. is going to have no allies because no country's going to trust us anymore. We should not support any countries. We should allow ourselves to face the entire globe and China alone. If you're going to say no allies matter, we're not going to help any countries ever for any reason, even basic aid. No boots on the ground. Other countries came to our defense and had their troops die for us after 9/11, and we can't even give them basic aid, you're saying?
So during the 9/11, they were 2003 invasion of Iraq, or 2004. Not the whole. It wasn't a NATO alliance. It was a coalition.
It was Article 5 of NATO. It was Article 5 of NATO. I've been easy on you so far, but that was Article 5 of NATO.
I don't want to yell. There were NATO members, but there were a lot of people that were.
It was Article. It was still. It's the only time Article 5 of NATO was enacted.
Yeah.
It was Article 5 of NATO. That is objectively true. Can you answer the question? Is there any point in which you would give aid to any other country if Russia and China invaded them?
I personally wouldn't give aid.
Okay,
if
then
I were in charge.
Okay, well, you're sacrificing global peace, and we're going to start World War III then, so that's okay.
So, yeah, you're right. The U.S. wants to have world peace. They always try their best to keep the world peaceful. But
yeah, we just give up. Let's just do World War III.
Russia's never gonna stop. They're just gonna keep going. They have.
Okay, yeah, we should let Russia kill all of Europe, and China and Russia can kill all of Europe. They can kill all of Central America. They can kill every part of the country, or every part of the world. And when they get to the U.S., we're gonna have no other allies because everyone's gonna be dead. Okay. Sounds good.
Well, I mean, I believe you're right that, Russia wants all Europe to be, under their flag or under their banner. But I don't think that NATO will come to their alliance, to their defense. Um, you know, they say that, during the Iraq War they did come to their defense, but now it's a different time in the world now.
Yeah, because the
You know,
U.S. is dead
I
now.
just
The U.S. leadership is pathetic now. We are pathetic. We are a pathetic
well,
country. We are not doing anything that abides to our values anymore or our
I
constitution.
I think you're right that Trump is he's a politician. He says all these promises, you know, and in the war on day one, but then now he's changing he's changing his
He's
his
always been
views.
pro-war. His first term, he was pro-war too. He increased drone strikes
Yeah,
by like 400 times.
supported the Iraq war, but now he says that he didn't, even though
During
it's
his
on
term,
YouTube.
he got more U.S. service members killed. He encouraged conflict throughout the globe. He was always pro-war as president, the first and second
On
time.
his first term, when he became president, I don't know how many U.S. troops died in the Afghan war, but when Trump came into office, he told the leader of the Taliban, he showed him a picture. He said, "Okay, I know where you live. If another U.S. troop dies, that you're gonna be bombed." And then from there, no U.S. troops died for those 4 years in the Afghan war. And then you get Biden, who came into office in 2020. He did the worst military withdrawal in history. He left billions of dollars worth of equipment for the Taliban
The pullout that Trump designed, right?
Well, yeah, you're right. He did when Trump was in office. He was planning to withdraw troops
Earlier.
and all the equipment, but then he lost the
No,
election.
no, he was not planning on moving equipment. No, they designed a terrible pullout that would not allow any time for any of the logistics you're talking about. Trump designed it.
So-
Trump made it so that it was collapsing. It was a collapsing situation. Biden tried to extend it past the original April pullout date or April or May pullout date. He extended it to the fall. And it was he could not set it back enough to stabilize the area enough. Trump is the reason it failed. Biden gets all the blame, but according to all intel, they followed everything they had, and Trump with the Doha agreements, freaking screwed everything. And it's crazy that Biden. And by the way, 4 times the American troops died under Trump versus Biden.
Yeah.
It's just like with everything you're saying right now, it's just very, I want to be able to agree on some points. It's just,
Well, I know we have our own opinions.
I know, but the idea that Russia and China can just blaze through the entire globe and we're not going to do literally anything, including
that's a good thing
including
too about
provide
China.
basic support, is insane. Like we're just going to sacrifice the entire world to authoritarianism and dictatorship. And
Well, when you look at the tariffs that Trump put on China, what did China do? They just ignored Trump's tariff and they just made their own tariff. And then Trump said, "Oh, okay, you're gonna make your tariff higher." Then what did China do? They made theirs higher. And then what did Trump do? He withdrew his tariff on China because China is the number one importer of most U.S. goods. They make about 40% of garlic, and actually in the whole world. But I believe at the end of the day that if the U.S. doesn't, accept Chinese goods, China would probably collapse.
that's why the store had no garlic bread. I was thinking, why does the store have no garlic bread? And yeah, China produces 80% of the world's production. We're not gonna have any garlic bread because of Trump, bro. Trump.
Yeah, Trump really messed up on this. I think he just has his big ego. He's the president of the United States.
He's a whiny baby. He should not be president. He should not be any leadership position ever. He sucks as a businessman. He sucks in every aspect of life. Except
what I
getting...
noticed about Trump is that when he is in office, he changes his story. He says during the campaign
lies.
that I'm gonna
He does lie.
fix the economy, but then he turns around and says something else.
I would just say, so DJ, pretty much, there is no extent. So the entire conversation around Ukraine was pointless because there's no extent to which Charles would say aid is necessary to any country anywhere, any European country, including Germany, France, whatever, they can be invaded by Russia or China, and we're gonna do nothing. And it's not even a discussion. He's against all foreign aid in any form, so it's GG's.
Yeah, at the end of the day, China's the one who's going to win because they control
So we're just giving
the
up
roads.
what? So
We
we're just
should,
giving up to China? Okay.
Yeah, we can be more like Scandinavia. We can spend that money on universal health care and being racist to brown people. I don't know. I think, yeah, since World War II, like America's sort of established itself as a hegemon. Like we lead uh, global, the global order, so to speak.
Yeah.
For better or for worse, that's the position that we found ourselves in. And I think, despite whatever bad stuff people want to say about the military industrial complex, that confers on us some important benefits.
Yeah.
We have a lot of influence over what types of things are broadly allowed and not allowed in international geopolitics. A lot of people look to us. We're sort of like, I don't know, like, aside from a few people in Europe, I don't know like the presidents of most other
So
countries.
you
I'm
made a
pretty sure
good point right
everybody.
there.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when you said that the world relies on the U.S., I mean the U.S. is like I believe it's the number 2 superpower in the world. Number
Number
2.
two.
Yeah, I think that was the world rankings. I think it was like 2 years ago when they ranked the militaries of each countries, and China turned out to be the number 1 in the world.
Uh,
But I think that was biased because the Chinese military is like a Lego army. Their army is just horrible.
does China
Like
even have an expeditionary army? I
China
didn't.
they have a navy that they claim to be the largest. They have the largest navy in the world, China. But you look at their naval fleets, they're all shiny. And then you look at the U.S. Navy, their fleet is rusty. And then you can see which country has the most experience. Um, but I believe China, they say it's the number 1 power, but you can look at Russia. Before the Ukraine war, everyone was afraid of Russia. And then you look at now, they can't even invade a country without relying on North Korea. Then you see North Korea here, their army is just getting wiped out because they're like clover troops, with no training. Um, yeah, but I believe at the end of the day that the U.S. they should be the number 1 superpower, but I think that they're the number 2.
I definitely disagree, but regardless, I guess the point I'm trying to make is that we have established ourselves as being a sort of authority in these kinds of conflicts, and that if something is going to happen, we're
Imperialism, what you mean?
well, imperialism implies that we want to like conquer or own or occupy territory, and currently we're not
That's why the
really.
U.S. They always want to be, imperialists. They always want to get involved in Europe's wars. Because I don't know why the U.S. always wants. I mean, I know they want to have world peace, but Europe needs to
No,
fight their
there's
own wars.
there's
And the
there's a
U.S.
difference between interventionism and imperialism. Like we intervene in a lot of wars, but that's because we believe that we can help resolve them in a way that's conducive to our country's interests and sometimes
Yeah,
to the world's interests. But
yeah.
imperialism is like we want to exploit and dominate other countries uh, just uh, just for some sort of economic gain, that by exploiting these countries we can
Because the U.S.
benefit.
government thinks that they have, you know, they're a superpower that thinks that they can just stick their nose in whatever they feel. You know,
Well, we
spending
can.
all this. They can, but they shouldn't. We
Why?
the country, our countries have our own problems. Our border, our border is a mess because Biden left it with
I
Kamala.
don't want to
She
jump
was the
I don't want
border
to jump
czar.
around. I don't want to jump around too much. What's wrong with intervening in foreign conflicts?
There's nothing wrong with mainframe foreign conflicts, but when you
guys,
have
if you don't want to
problems in
listen
your
to
own
this,
country,
if you don't want to listen to this, you guys can go to bed. This is the final call. We're just hanging out right now, basically. So join the Discord, hang out. I'll be back on tomorrow. Look for 10 p.m. Eastern time, maybe 9:30. I'll put it on YouTube and Discord. See you guys tomorrow. I'm going to let this run for a little bit. I'm going to let this conversation go for a little bit, but have a good night. If you don't want to listen to it, don't listen to it. Go to bed. This is the end of the stream, but I'm going to let them talk for a little bit on stream. Okay, I'll still be here. I'm going to be reading. I'll be reading the chat. I'll be reading chat too, but join Discord. I'll let them talk. Okay, have a good night, guys. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for all the support, guys. See you tomorrow.
For him, and you see me doing that, and you say, stop helping that homeless guy. I'm like, why? You say, there's a homeless guy 2 blocks that way. You could be helping him. Shouldn't you help him?
you
And
could.
it's like,
but
okay, yeah, well, I can do, like, I'll get there. Like, I can do both of these things.
it's gonna
I
happen
can, right,
eventually.
like, I have a
but they would
friend, I can
prefer.
go help this other guy 2 blocks down the street, but it's like, both of these things are good things to do. Like, a good type of intervention, and not all, maybe not even most of America's intervention, foreign policy intervention, has been beneficial to everyone, but I think it's preferable to something like Russia or China, what they would have done in the same situation. And it's like we can do that and also focus on the domestic issues. I don't think that the reason we're like allegedly not addressing these issues is because we're just so focused on sticking our nose into foreign
Yep.
affairs. I think it's because there are real disagreements over
That's
how to
why the
address
U.S.
these
became
issues.
a third world country. To be honest, like you see our airports, you look at the airports in Saudi Arabia, airports in the Middle East. You can see they look beautiful, and you go to JFK
You said
International
we're a
Airport.
third world country?
Well, it's become like that because Biden just ruined our economy by sticking his nose into world conflicts, and just
Sticking his
providing.
nose into world conflicts by pulling out of Afghanistan? No, I don't think, again, it's just not that we have a budget that Congress passes, and it's not like we have, oh, here's how much we can spend, and let's choose between foreign policy stuff and domestic policy stuff. No, we go on a case by case basis. We say, here's the policy. Is it something we should allocate funding for? And then we say yes or we say no. And we answer each of those questions about each policy independently of every other question. So
Yeah.
if we want to do both of these things, we can do both of these things. Doing one does not disallow us from doing the other.
I would, but I don't have a lot of time. But I really appreciate you guys letting me debate today.
Yeah, thanks,
I
bud.
truly regret voting for Trump. I think there could have been a better candidate in the party.
Yeah.
Like maybe Ron DeSantis or Dr. Carson would have been a good candidate.
I'd
But
kill for either of them.
I would too, but they'd rather choose a guy who has has all the support.
Yes.
But yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for chatting.
Okay.
Hope to see you around in the future.
All right, I'll see you in the future. All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Jolah, you called me a mod in training? Fuck you. Or sorry, frick you. Unmute, coward. He's not even here, is he? Check stream.
He's not at the keyboard, DJ, but I was offended for you.
The person talking to the caller is DJ, a Discord mod in training? This
Yeah, that is really offensive. It's slanderous, even.
I came into this world trained, okay? I was coached, okay? I have connections with you know who, triple parentheses. And I'm well trained, all right? And I'm well equipped, and I think the conversation I just had speaks for itself. But thanks for the stream, Jolah. Welcome to the team, DJ. Welcome to the stream, Kate Ion. Thanks for saying welcome. Vandred wants me to entertain you. What do you want me to do to entertain you, Vandred? I don't know any card tricks. I misspoke. Fuck. I am not a trained Marxist. I'm a trained social anarchist, which has nothing to do with economic policy. Well, I don't know. I am actually Eon Hand. I am Jolah's microphone. Trans women in sports? I don't know. I don't care about women's sports. But no, I think up until like varsity high school sports, it probably like biological advantages don't really matter because like middle school sports is not about competitive advantages and stuff. You're not going to be winning medals that are going to determine your future. It's more about like being on a team and learning to work with others and getting active and everything. So until then, I would say I don't care. Let a person play in whatever division they identify as. But like varsity and beyond, like NCAA Olympic stuff, I don't know. I think we created women's sports to, I guess, deal with or correct for the biological advantage that a male puberty confers on a person. So I would say no, keep the trans out of the Olympic and NCAA sports, but well, I don't know how to get us viewers back because it's not my goddamn stream, and I can't pull my face up. I know part of the reason, like I know the reason half you guys watch the stream is just so you can look at Jola, um, and I understand it, but I can't show myself. I can't get Jola back, so kind of rough. It's not my fault if we're losing viewers. I don't get paid. Um, but
Chola
yeah,
said it was end of stream anyway. If you guys are sitting in the comments and you're a member, join the Discord. Come on, come join the
yeah,
conversation. You can come yell at us and call us
yeah,
woke lib cucks.
yeah. I am a woke lib cuck. I take pride in it. Gay pride.
They just want to talk. They don't
Um,
want to. They don't want to have a conversation. They're scared.
let's see.
They're scared. Did you guys hear the conversation I had with the one guy that threatened to beat me up?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did,
I did.
and I had I called him a crybaby, and someone got really offended in the chat and started telling me to police my tone.
It is
Wait,
offensive.
what do you think
It's
about
a
the whole
slur.
like the whole movement between calling I said some pretty crazy as far as online trash talk goes. I was saying some pretty crazy stuff about him doing like tricks on it. But then at the
Jola,
end, how it
take the
ended.
in training out, please.
He was though. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, he was.
Remove the in training, please.
What do you mean in training?
Get it away.
What does that mean to you?
DJ, a Discord mod in training? Come on. Stop it. Don't do that. But yeah, no, that was crazy. I really liked every time he started to make a point. He was, here we go. This is why I don't talk to you. This is why I can't have a conversation with you people. It's he you peopled you. And then he got mad at you for you peopling him.
Well, that's the
Which is
theory
the
we
Well,
talked
dumbest
about
thing.
before, right?
the immediate jump to violence is so like what's wrong with these people? You call into a show and then when you get a little bit of pushback, your immediate jump is to
I would beat the shit out of people
I
like
beat
you.
you up. Yeah, like that's wild. Like, do you act like that in person? Are you just like anytime anyone has a minor disagreement with you, you threaten them violently? If so, actually get some help.
Man, that's the theory that
I'm
we
gonna
talked about
do it.
before, DJ, about paternalism and matching energy. Though it's like they respect it a little bit. Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Right. As a maternal figure like a father, you lose all of like your real substantive authority if you lash out. The strength of the like paternal authority, I'm getting a call. I'm not going to join the other call. The strength comes from not having to uh use it, right? Like the
yeah,
father who's like stoic, just your dad looking disappointed at you can be a better like way to change how you act than or more scary than if he like starts yelling at you. There's something about like if you feel like you have to use your authority and use your masculinity in a violent way, it's like that's a little bitch made. I don't know.
Yeah, discipline. Where has discipline gone? And he even said like discipline is not part of being a man, or even like I brought up the Palm Sunday thing where it's like the militarized the military parades and the show of force and the need to enact violence to show your power is literally, it's explicitly antithetical to everything about Palm Sunday and everything about Jesus Christ. And like that's why they never quote things that Jesus actually said of substance. It really is the whole thing of I am weak, so I must enact violence upon somebody. That's why they like guns, because they could just shoot someone instead of actually needing to learn how to manage yourself in the current world. Let's go back in time to a land where we win by default if we're men. You know, these women are on TikTok doing the dance in Australia with their itty bitty titties in a bob. That freaking video, that video of them.
Stop. I don't like having to defend that. Because it is cringe, it's super cringe. But then people come out and they're like, this is why the 19th Amendment was a mistake. It's like, oh my God. I get it's cringe, but Jesus.
Well, I opened up like I had a little start to a possible like campaign type of ad. How I would want to announce my my intentions if I ran for something. And it really started off with I was writing this earlier, trying to pick the exact wording I'd want to use. But basically just like that stoic, disappointed look that like you just said, it's like, congratulations, you banned pronouns. And imagine this in like an ad format. Congratulations, you banned pronouns. Our kids are falling behind. Big money's controlling politics. We have no plans for healthcare or veteran services. We have money to drop bombs all over the world, and we donate billions of taxpayer dollars to the pockets of billionaires. Why does none of this ever change? You're talking about pronouns, not the policy. Never the policy. You're talking about pronouns. You wake up every day in this beautiful country and you decide to make yourself mad about someone else's business. There's people that wake up, hear the birds chirp, and see the sun come up, and they get mad when they realize they forgot to be mad about someone else's gender. You know, I just feel like it's not even about defending it. It's making them feel stupid for being mad about dumb shit, you know? Like,
yeah. Yeah, I do think, right, like there's a time and a place for in-depth conversations about various trans-related topics, but honestly, it should not be as high up on our list of like on our priority list for political discourse in the country. There are like 3 trans people, all right, and 2 of them are just chilling, and one of them like plays sports sometimes, and everybody's whining about it. It's like, I don't know. Yeah. There are way more important things to discuss and way more justifiable things to be angry or frustrated about.
Tim Walz went off. He was screaming, like, if you care about veterans, fine. Then let's get this bill passed. Let's get the funding passed. Get passed. If you care about saying pronouns or mad about pronouns, then you go talk. You can go talk to one of the guys that doesn't want to get shit done. Like, it really does make you feel silly. Like, bro, I'm really mad about I'm really mad about pronouns right now, bro. What am I?
Yeah. Did you see that Eric Doherty guy? Who like, I hate this term crash out. I don't know why it's popular now, but he yelled. It was he was like, "Where's the independence of the committee?" No, that was Larson. That was what's his name? I don't know if you've seen the clip. John Larson. Did you see that clip?
No, I have to look it up.
I want you to watch it.
Oh, on the vibe thing, my last thing on the vibe thing, and how you just say like someone's doing something wrong. I was watching that Parker guy again, the Parker debates guy, and like those guys, because they do a lot of call-in content. Interesting sometimes. You don't need to say like, bro, did you just say a slur right now? You just said a slur. You think it's funny to say slurs will be offensive? You think it's funny to take rights away from trans people? And it's like, sometimes you could literally just say, it works a lot better to be like, dude, why are you not being cool? Can't you just be cool? Can't you just be like a good guy? Just be a good guy. Just be a chill guy. Just like be chill.
Yeah.
Like be cool. Care about people. Like a lot of people, it starts and ends there. I should treat other people decent. Like just be a cool guy. Be a good guy. It doesn't need to be all this loaded terminology. It can literally just be that. And the signaling. What JD Vance said about being directionally correct, the signaling is really what matters. Like, yeah, dude, I'm just I'm a cool guy. Oh, I saw this.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a beautiful video.
Where is Elon Musk? Yeah, yeah.
Where's the legislature?
It's got a nice.
We're an equal branch of government.
Nice din.
And you start off with a blather, and yet look at the empty seats here.
I mean, like the whole. It depends on what it is, because if the joke is, if they're actually making a joke that they think is funny, and that that could be funny, but it's cringe or problematic, like, I don't know. I don't feel the need to point that out and address it. But like, there was that one caller who, or probably more than one, probably dozens, that came in and like just started shouting a bunch of slurs. I think the response of like, you just kind of roll with it. You just kind of chill. And I think the reaction is like, it just gives them a sense of validation. Like, they got
Buddy,
what
you're
they
safe.
wanted.
You're safe. You're safe. You're safe, buddy. You can be. You should feel safe here. You don't gotta lash out. You're safe. It's like, I know you didn't. Yeah, I know you didn't grow up with a father. Like, that's a little far sometimes, but it's also
the fatherless thing. I guess it's just the guy the guy who was gonna beat your ass. When he answered yes, I was like, oh no, it's not good. If you ask someone if they're fatherless and they're like, yeah, it's just. I don't know. You were both yelling, and there was like
all of my parents
moment.
Yeah, I don't have a. I mean, my dad killed himself, so it's like, I mean, I can bring that up. I can bring that stuff up.
You have the.
That's why it'd be good for me to run, because I could say a lot of shit about a lot of shit that these people talk about. And really, like, I think when people are just like completely bullshitting conversations, it's just like, I'm getting annoyed with YouTube content with the debaters, and like talking to Rob really solidified my thoughts. It's like, it's not worth it. It's not worth platforming these unserious people who take effort to lie. We should not be boosting them. We should be talking to regular people who have real concerns. I hate seeing these big channels platform these assholes. Or Jubilee. Jubilee's a toxin for everything. They're toxic as shit.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of a gamble. Like, if you have someone go on there and they're on the left and they do really well, it's probably going to have some positive impact, but
yeah. 3-minute conversations are the best, especially when they're cut up for views.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the world we live in now.
Yeah.
Get with
Sad.
it.
Sad.
Or get out of the way.
See, that's the funny thing. It's the world we live in, for sure. It is the world we live in. But also the long form, we really are in a world where it's either long form content or zero brain content. And people, like, I consume both. I don't watch that much like 5 to 10 minute content, but I watch both extremes.
Yeah, I won't. That's interesting, because I will watch a video if it's like a YouTube short. I won't watch any YouTube shorts because I care about my mental well-being. But and I'll watch a video if it's like more than 45 minutes long. But I don't know. I can't remember the last 10 to 20 minute video I watched, or that I saw in my recommended and was like, I'm gonna watch this now. It's just a weird. Yeah, I don't know. It's, you either need the Oppenheimer style constant stimulation Mr. Beast video, or the fucking Joe Rogan sitting there smoking weed the whole time, kind of slow, easy stuff. But I don't know.
Yeah.
The internet has really destroyed everything.
Yeah. Yeah, people watching the stream right now, you should all go to bed and donate money to me. Yeah, just send money to me. I'll do good things with it, including view botting eventually. So please,
He's gonna
send money.
become a House representative, and he's definitely not gonna sleep with a porn star and then pay the porn star not to talk about it with the money you send him. Actually, he will do that because then you guys will support him.
Please donate to Jolah. He hasn't fed the mods in weeks.
in years, actually. Oh man, the algorithm is a wild thing. The other, like on Friday night, I couldn't crack more than freaking 50 viewers on both streams combined, pretty much. And
Yeah,
then,
and it immediately popped off tonight. It was kind of wild.
yeah, we had a consistent 200 or 250 tonight. So that's good.
I'm always
take
in the
that.
non-shorts stream, so it's always relatively empty.
Yeah, that's a problem. That is a problem with the streams, is that people that want to watch the full
Oh,
screen
come on,
don't watch the
DJ.
shorts.
You don't want to hang out with the intellectuals in the short stream.
It's too much for me. It's a big blow to my ego if I'm around so many people that are so much smarter than me. It's just it hurts. So I go in the horizontal stream where I can be a regular person.
Theatrical Dams, Queen MAGA. Well, Morgan Wallen, literally, I never made a TikTok about this, but I should have. When he went to SNL, which he booked SNL, knew what it was. He performed at SNL, and then he leaves. And he makes a big showing of it, and people are like, the left is owned. They're a bunch of beta lip. Like, literally, he's a diva. He's the definition of a dramatic, sassy diva. Like, it's literally, he knew what he was getting into. He used it for marketing. And Morgan Wallen, he's a diva. He's a beta. Like, that's literally the most diva feminine activity in the negative, sense of feminine. The right wing right
negative. Well, there's only a negative sense of feminine.
now. Yeah. And people that don't like women, what they say when they mean feminine. But like, oh my god. Trump, dude, I wish Trump. Ooh. So unfair.
So unfair.
Sure,
I think
sure.
Pop country is the worst. I think it's bad, and I think it's unhealthy. I think if God is real, the thing he probably hates the most about this world is pop country.
There's a study on that, dude.
People like Morgan Wallen.
You see the study that connects the those books that turn into movies where it's like the city educated girl, she goes to the countryside and the guy's like carving the bark of a tree, and it's like you should leave the city and come out and feel what really living feels like, honey. And she like leaves her corporate job where she makes a bunch of money to go live with the poor farmer or whatever, who's like super hot with a huge amazing six pack and a chiseled chin, and he looks like he's from a Hollister ad. Like
Directed
those,
by
and also
Ted Kaczynski.
yeah, and country, the pop country. There's a huge connection between both of those and white nationalism, or and Christian nationalism, and Christian fundamentalism, with women leaving academia and returning to their roles as gatherers and nurturers.
Oh, yeah. I bet you could definitely do an English paper on that. There probably already has been. It's interesting. People very easily get nostalgic about ideas they have about time periods that they weren't alive for. I mean, you see it in the whole like "Make America Great Again." If you ask them what time period is that referring to, the most common answer I've heard is like the 50s, so like before the Civil Rights Act. But like this idea that there was a time
with the 90%
when
tax margin.
well, yeah, but this idea that there was some time when everything was chill and good, and the country was not at ideological war with itself, and you were just a city girl falling in love with a small town boy. It's never been like that. I'm not sure if I'm doubtful we'll ever get to a place where that's the norm, that things are just like chill and fine and everybody's having a good time. We've had periods of more and less prosperity, but there's always been shit. There's always been disagreements and problems and scandals and demonization of certain things and allowing certain things that shouldn't be allowed in politics and society. It's weird that people have they romanticize some idea of the past and they attach themselves to it. That past never existed, buddy. It's never gonna exist. Stop coping.
Everyone was dancing, and they really share videos that look like the friggin' Roaring '20s. And I saw someone say the Roaring '20s are back in America, and it's like, yeah, they are. We're in the Roaring '20s, and after the Roaring '20s came a really good event. It's called the greatest time ever, actually.
Yeah,
well, I mean, it's because we don't really learn about the worst aspects of these time periods and what happened to the people in the lower level of society. Well, I mean, it's not even really
Great
talked
Gatsby.
about like academically until you seek it out yourself.
1870s to 1913 were the best times.
Like the conditions of the average poor person in like the 1800s or even the early 1900s. Whenever I learned about those time periods, it was about the fucking robber barons and their lifestyles, more or less.
I'm ending the stream, guys. I'm ending the stream. Have a good night, everyone. And remember, Christian nationalism is really a really bad form of supremacy, and America does not realize how violent that ideology is. And the KKK would agree with Russell Vought, owner of the Office of Management and Budget. And the KKK are not good people, and neither is Vought.
Morgan Wallen would agree with that.
Morgan Wallen, take me back to God's country. That is a funny meme. Have a good night, guys. Go to bed. See you guys tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a good night, guys. Thank you for donating and all that stuff.
Join us in the Discord.
Join Discord. Discord links are there. We need more friends. Okay, see you guys. Oh wait, I didn't mean to leave the Discord actually. Whoopsies. Have a good night, guys. Discord link is in the channel descriptions as well. The video descriptions. Have a good night, guys. See you.